Kravets. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good morning here in the United States. Good afternoon overseas at Royal Ascot in the United Kingdom. This is your host, Howard Kravets of the HHH Racing Podcast. We are live here at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. I am so excited to present live racing and analysis right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. It is the 2025 Royal Ascot meet, starts today, Tuesday through Saturday. Thank you very much for joining us. We're expecting a huge following of listeners and watchers. We'd greatly appreciate your viewership. Please spread the word that we are on live right now to talk about the first four races. The first four races, all group races, we'll be covering right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'll be bringing on my wonderful co-host for today's show in just a minute. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen on YouTube. Hit the notification bell on the top right and smash that like button, that thumbs up button below the video player. We would greatly appreciate that. That'll bring like-minded horse players and punters like yourself to the HHH Racing Podcast. You can listen to this show and all of our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We have a fantastic tip sheet. Look below the video player in the description for information about our Power Picks tip sheet. It's inexpensive and very profitable. We also have a wonderful website, hhhracingpodcast.com, for all information about not only American-based racing, but also we have a special international Power Picks tip sheet for those of you that are part of Team HHH. And if you're a part of our special Team HHH family, welcome to the show. You've already received a 5-page international tip sheet from a gentleman who's going to be coming on here very shortly. All right, the first race, ladies and gentlemen, starts at 9:30 Eastern in the morning, 2:30 local in the UK. I'm going to bring on right now, once he's all set up there in the background, I'm going to bring on our international correspondent. He's got his top hat, no tails, but he's got his top hat ready to go. Looks familiar. My good friend from Liverpool, England, Davy Lane. Davy, top of the morning, my friend. How are you?
Top of the morning to you, Howard. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. You're looking sharp with your sport jacket and your tie and your hat. I'll tell you what, there's nothing like Ascot, Davy. It's very exciting. Of course, they run in the fall as well. People don't know, but the Royal Ascot meet has been traditional around for hundreds of years. It's one of the best meets of the year. Several group races, 5 days long. It's quite the event, isn't it?
Yeah, the color of the tie today, Howard, is it's green, so you can win some greenbacks for
like
you guys over there, hopefully.
I like it. We had the opportunity to be there last year, Davey. You and I together for the first time. It was actually your first time at Ascot, even though you live in Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's a spectacular event. It's really more than just the racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long way away. And actually, just to get into one little thing, it was the Ascot or the day after I went to the hospital where it was discovered I had a rare autoimmune disease. And within 24 hours of being within 6 feet of the royal carriage, I was in an emergency room getting treated for getting diagnosed with something called myasthenia gravis, which makes my eye droop a little bit. It's a long story, but I've been struggling with that for the last year. So it's harder to punt and then study the form than it was 2 years ago. It is now, but I'm still plugging away.
Yeah, no, we know
Just
you're
wanted
doing
to get
better.
that out.
No problem. We understand. We're thankfully feeling better. There's a little bit of a delay. Of course, Davey is in the UK, so if you see his mouth moving and the sound coming out slightly different, we'll continue to work on that. There's really not much we can do. I don't think it should get better here as we go along. Davey, let's set the table. The first race is the Queen Anne Group 1 traditional. Let's talk about Ascot very quickly for a minute for people who are not familiar. I'm going to bring up on the screen please describe to everyone what they see here. There's a straight course, which you can see my cursor. You see the winning post or the finish line is where I have my cursor here on the bottom left. And they have that what's called the round course. And as of right now, based on the colors, I know it's hard for you to can see, right now it is good to firm in general, and it's going to be beautiful all week. Describe what people are seeing here on the screen and how that will affect these races.
Well, what you had, where your cursor was there at the top of the screen where the curve is, that's what they call swindly bottom at the very top of the screen. That's why it's still in green, signifying good, because obviously it's the lowest point of the curve of the course. Yeah, right around there. So from that point upwards, the horses, the ground starts to rise, and it rises all the way along on the round course, and then there's a stiff finish on the straight course. So unlike most courses in the USA, with the exception of maybe Kentucky Downs, it is there are slight differences in gradation at courses, and Ascot is known for having a stiff finish. You were there last year. You didn't think it was as stiff as some people say it is, but believe me, it's stiff, and it makes a difference.
Yes,
it makes a difference to a horse that's generally used to running on a flat course, completely flat. They're not used to that little rise in gradation. So
now these races start in different places, obviously, Davey, but the races like the Queen Anne or the races generally on the straight course, what do you think are the better gate draws or the posts? And what are the better gate draws or posts for races on the round course that are like 1.2 miles and 1.4 miles, for example?
Right. Well, what we have right now, there's a general expectation that usually what we call the grandstand side or the high draw numbers have the faster the faster going. However, the going stick these past few days has shown that the far side or the lower draws are actually got a fast surface. Now I'm not sure what it is today, but it has been that way for the last few days. 8.4 is the going stick on the far side, 8.1 on the near side, the grandstand side.
Yes.
So that gets you to be confused about looking at that. You would expect the horses with the higher draws to do better. Occasionally there's exceptions, and occasionally there's exceptions like this where they're going, for whatever reason, whether the watering is that way or what have you, is faster on the lower numbers. Now,
sure,
what comes out of that, who knows? As we're looking one of these races later on today, if a lot of the best horses are in the higher draws, it doesn't matter if you're a fast horse on a low on a low number. Where the pace is where the pace is, and that's it.
Right. We'll have to see how it plays. I know that Emmett Kennedy, who did a wonderful job, he's the host of the Final Furlong podcast, he was on, mentioned they have a new drainage system as of last year, and he personally thought that early speed, a horse that want to be up front, have a little more opportunity to win than they did normally, especially on the straight course. Do you have any opinion on that thought?
Not really. I think this year's numbers have been skewed a lot by the fact that Britain's had an unusually hot spring. I mean, the whole of April was like the peak of August and July without a drop of rain in 40 days. Very, very hot. So I wouldn't be sure if that's the case or not, to be honest.
And look who's there. Look at that. Emmett Kennedy in the chat, Davey. Thanks for the shout out. Good morning, Emmett. Cross your best today, Emmett. Another one from Emmett. Shout out to America's best horse racing podcast. Big money for Carl Spackler. Yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm confident Diego Velasquez will run a big race. Henri Matisse, FTW in the future race. Have a show, lads. Thanks, Emmett. Appreciate it, man. Good luck to you. He does he thinks Carl Spackler is interesting, and he likes Diego Velasquez. Let's look at the chat very quickly, Davey, and then we'll get into the Queen Anne, which starts in, approximately 20 minutes. Let's see here. From Hot Rod Horseplay, Ruling Court is his best bet of the day. We'll talk about that race and a fantastic race in race 4. That's the Prince of Wales, I believe. Is that right, Dave? If I remember that correctly, the name of that one? Yep.
No, that would be the King. Which is the Ruling Court? St. James's Palace.
Oh, that's the St. James Palace. I'm sorry. The Prince of Wales is tomorrow, I believe. Tom Espinoza. Good morning, everyone. Watching from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Beautiful part of the country. I've never been to New Mexico, but welcome. Let's see. Terry Frank from St. Louis is here. Davey, good morning to Terry. Raymond Littlejohn, let's go. I agree, Raymond. Thanks for joining the show. Katie is here. Let's see who else. James is here. James is ready to crush his bets. Thanks, James, for joining the show. And let's see. Up Chris Couples, Diego Velasquez is my only serious bet of the day. LFG from Chris Couples, an excellent gentleman, contest player, just good guy overall. Look who else is here. Oldie, what's up, Oldie? Oldie from Equine Edge. Welcome, Oldie, to the show and Equine Edge. Good morning, Howard and HHH team. Oldie, good luck on your bets today. Max Witten is here from Pittsburgh. What's up, Max? Just outside of where the Oakmont Country Club was played, the U.S. Open. Boy, what a course that was. Damon, my boy Damon. What's up, Damon? Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? Didn't get a chance to see you at the Derby, Damon. Sorry about that. Good morning from Louisville. Crush your bets. What's up, Damon? We got a lot of people here from literally all over the world and all over the country. Very excited. And you know who else we also have here, Davey, is a young man who is, I mean, he's got so many titles now, I don't even know what to say. But the titles, most specifically to me and our show, is co-host of Pacific Horse Players. Let's bring him right now, bright and early, up at 6:12 a.m. local on the West Coast, Mr. Rian Anderson. Ryan, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Davey, nice to see you. Howard, what's up? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Nice and early, Ryan. I'm impressed, man. Very impressed. Thanks for coming on the show. Look, I assume I know you've done your homework and you're all set to go. We're going to talk about the first race. Perfect timing here, Ryan, to come on right now. So let's do this, guys. Let's go ahead and get right into the race. The first race of the day, and I'm going to show many things on screen, ladies and gentlemen. And the first thing I'm going to show is the field and the current odds overseas. So the first race of the day is the Queen Anne. It's a Group 1. It's 1 mile on the straight. You are seeing live right now the current market odds. Again, this is different betting markets at the top across the screen. The first one, the first column here, is probably what you want to focus on. This is one of the more accurate ones. This is, again, betting in the UK, ladies and gentlemen. Let me repeat that. This is betting in the, this is betting in the UK markets. This is not what the Whirlpool is. I will show the Whirlpool in just a minute. But, Davey, one of the themes today are the differences between the UK market, a betting market, and the Whirlpool, because there are going to be differences. Right now, you can get Rosalind at almost 5-2, it looks like, in the markets in UK. I know it's a little bit smaller on the screen. I will make this bigger here as we go along. Let me make this a little bigger. On the left side of the screen, you can see the Whirlpool, courtesy of Twin Spires, and Rosalind right now 9-5, Davey, in the Whirlpool. Your thoughts on Rosalind, the favorite in the Queen Anne, to kick off the meet?
I have tipped it and given a wing to Diego Velasquez and to Carlos Bacla. I was surprised it's shorter on the Whirlpool. I'm not sure why that is. I would expect it to have been shorter in the UK. But this could be the UK bookies trying to, entice punters in. You know, the UK bookie prices aren't a reflective or indicative of the money coming in. It's the bookies deciding how to entice you sometimes. So you have to be aware of that. It's not necessarily a reflection of the money in the pool. Whereas the Whirlpool is actually a pool of live money, so you can't go wrong with that.
Do you believe Rosalind is the deserved favorite? Do you believe Rosalind is the deserved favorite,
most definitely.
Davey? Yeah. And do you pick him to win the race? Is that your top choice?
He is my top choice, yeah, because this is a horse that needs straight, firm, fast ground, and this is what he gets. There was a little niggle, a little lung infection in the middle of last year, and they pulled stumps on him for the year. And he's had his prep run. He was coming strong at the end. He should be ready for this. If you remember when we were talking 2 years ago when he was a 2-year-old, I touted him to you when he was a 6 or 7-1 shot at Longchamp, and he just powered away and won the race easily. So I'm a big fan of the horse, and I'm sticking with him. But I respect the American horse coming over. Now to run in Australia, and I respect Diego Velasquez. I'm less keen on the others around the market.
Let's talk about Diego Velasquez a little bit, Davey, and then Ryan will get your opinions on the race, and I'll talk about mine as well. Diego Velasquez really came on towards the end of the year, won the Meld Stakes by a Group 3 in July. You can see on the screen by 7, won another stakes. They were thinking about going to the Breeders' Cup Mile, Turf Mile. They opted not to go. I know Aidan O'Brien mentioned to Emmett Kennedy earlier this week that they were hoping to get a run in before this race. They did not. I would say that's a small disadvantage. I also don't love the one draw here all the way on the far side, but this is a very talented progressive 4-year-old, and Aidan is the all-time leading trainer in the history of Ascot Racecourse, Davey. That goes back hundreds of years. This is a very live horse. You see 15-1 in the morning line, but as of right now, let's see, you can get about 10-1 on him over in Europe, and in the Whirlpool, it looks like he is somewhere, about 8-1 right now, Davey.
Yeah, and would you let a horse trained by Ryan O'Brien and ridden by Aidan O'Brien and ridden by Ryan Moore go off at 10-1? I mean, would you?
No, sir.
I mean,
Ryan, I don't think so, right? That's what we call value, Ryan, right?
Correct. That's like the equivalent of over here letting Pratt go off at 8-1. Pratt, Chad Brown, Klarovich horse going off at that price.
And you fancy his chances as well, Davey, correct?
I do. I sent out a tip sheet this morning, and I included him as a possible win candidate, and I have had a little bet on him, not a big bet, and I've not really had a big bet on Russell Lyon either. I've just had just a standard bet. Most of my bets start really in race 2 and onwards. This is a trick. This is a race. It's not really a betting race for me so much.
Okay. Very quickly, and Ryan, we're going to get to you right now. Dancing Gemini is a horse that Davey believes is talented but wants a softer course. Davey's a little bit against Dancing Gemini. I personally like Lead Artist quite a bit here at 4-1. Again, that's the morning line. Let's see what Lead Artist is right now. Lead Artist is about 5s in the UK pool, and whoops, I'm going to stop doing that. And about 5-1 in the Whirlpool, which to me offers good value. Did you want to say something, Davey?
Yeah, he's 6.3 on the Whirlpool right now. I've got the Whirlpool board up, so I'm following that as it moves.
Okay, let's talk about Carl Spackler. Ryan, perfect time to bring you in. I had a chance to see this horse in person several times, most recently at Keeneland. Sold to Asian or Australian connections, several $1 million. The main plan here is to run in Australia, but running in the Queen Anne is a very ambitious spot. What I like about this horse, Ryan, is a few things. I'll let you talk for a few minutes about Carl Spackler, especially for people that are watching overseas that may not be familiar with Carl Spackler. This is a horse that, first of all, is European breeding. He's not your normal American. He's tactical. He's got a turn of foot. They brought him over early. They trained him over in Newmarket, Ryan, the last few weeks on the uphill course. He's as sharp as attack, and James McDonald is the rider, and I'll let Davey talk about James McDonald a little bit. This is a horse that's very well meant. I'm not sure he can win this race, but I think he's going to show it himself very well with a very good draw from the 8 post today, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he runs. I'm not going to pick him on top here, but obviously, I was with you for Maker's Mark Mile Day at Keeneland this spring, where we saw him dominate that field. But, as we've seen, facing against Euros always seems to be tougher and is a much tougher test. So he's going to have to prove me wrong, but I'm, at the very least intrigued to see how he runs here. I've heard he's been training great. So it'll be fun to watch, but he won't be my top pick in here.
Talk about James McDonald, Davey. I know you're a huge fan of him. He has several rides for Wathen Stables and other stables this next 5 days. Very talented jockey from Australia.
Actually, he's from New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. I'm sorry.
Just to be accurate, to get it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, but he's based in Australia, and he's basically the top jockey in the world if you go on the Longines ratings and other ratings. So, he's head and shoulders in theory on the numbers, on the figs, as you like to say, of Pratt and Irad and Ryan Moore. James McDonald is the guy. He's the head of them all. He's the world's top jockey right now. So it's no accident that the guys who are buying all the top horses, Watnan, are also found a way to grab James McDonald and bring him over here. And you ignore him at your peril. I mean, I won some good money on James McDonald like maybe 5-6 years ago when he was a younger jockey, and he was
Sure.
coming over to ride in a couple of rides at Royal Ascot, and I won on him. And I won on him in the 2 or 3 weeks before Royal Ascot when he was riding some of the provincial UK tracks and no one knew who he was. So, because, I was aware of how good he was. So I like to follow the jockey. What more can I say? And he's one of the best to follow.
Absolutely. Vashan Welch in the chat loves notable speech all day. Let's talk about this horse, Davy and Ryan. I'm fading him. He's 5-1 for Godolphin Buick. Charles Appleby, by the way, Ryan, has not won a race at Ascot in 2 years, believe it or not. This is a very talented horse, Davy, but he's also a bit immature at times, ran horrible here last year, and he's inconsistent. I just don't want to, I want no part of him in this race. He could win, wouldn't surprise me. I just don't want him here, Davy. I think you agree with that as well.
Yeah, it would surprise me if he won. I don't want him either. I mean, he was a winner of a classic, but this was a horse that was trialed over those synthetic tracks and was match fit. It was an angle Appleby had used to get a winner in the early season races in the UK, and I think subsequent to that, he's just being a so-so horse, and I've never been a fan of his, and I think those who are fans of his are kind of off him by now. So
okay, well, the board is sort of, yeah, I think the market is sort of showing that. Ryan, I didn't get your general thoughts in this race, and we've got about 7 minutes to post. And let me just bring everyone on the screen here. I'm going to bring all three of you guys large screen right now. Let's see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Just to let everyone know, we talked about this. We are not going to be able to show the races, obviously, because of contractual obligations. My plan is to have the audio of the races. So, and also we are at about a 10-second delay here on YouTube. So my sense is people are able to watch and hear the race a little bit before you do on this channels. We have now crossed the 400 live mark. We've already over 400 people watching live here, Davy and Ryan. Very excited on day one of Ascot. Let me just go around. We'll go to Ryan first, then we'll go to Davy on your overall impressions. Then I'll give my top three. Ryan, give me your overall top picks in this race, top three, and your general thoughts.
Yeah, my general thoughts was, I guess Rosalian looks like the clear horse to beat. I want to go with Dancing Gemini on top. Again, this is, not my strong suit for the game in terms of betting, but I do like to mess around a bit. So I'll go Dancing Gemini on top. I thought this one, I guess, has had 3 really good efforts to start the year. 0-2 at Ascot might be a question, but at least seems like this one's in good form. Diego Velasquez is my second choice. Obviously a horse that I'm very familiar with. Again, Ryan Moore, the value at 8-1 with Aidan O'Brien. I can't just ignore that. And then I went Rosalian in third. I expect him to run a good race. He's a very top-notch horse, and he's never been out of the try. So that's my I'm 3-4-10 in here in the first race.
Okay, 3-4-10. Yeah. Let me give my opinions because I haven't really talked about how I feel. Davey, I think Rosalian is clearly the horse to beat. I don't have a question. I think he needed his last run. I think you brought up some excellent points. The problem here is I don't love the value. Right now, I believe he's 9-5. Let's see what he is right now here in the Whirlpool. He's 9-5. I guess that's not too bad if you really like him. But I'm going to take a chance here with the number 7 lead artist, Davey. This is a progressive 4-year-old for John Gosden out of a Frankel mare. I'll tell you what, the Lockenge, I was pretty impressed. Dancing Gemini really had the lead. He fought back. He was good last year, but he's getting even better now. I think this is exactly what he wants. He's coming off a career top figure, as we like to say here in the States, which I guess you could say is a bit of a negative, but I just think he's going to continue to move forward, and I do like the price. I'm going to go with Rosalian in second for all the reasons you mentioned, Davey. And I'm going to go with Diego Velasquez in third. So I'm going to go 7-10-4. But I do want to say, and I've already put a bet in, so this is not red boarding or second guessing. In my I'm playing some trifectas here, Davey, and I'm keying, which means only in one spot. I'm using Carl Spackler in second and third. I think you can still get value on him in the vertical betting. I think he's talented enough where he can get a placing here. So I'd love to see Carl Spackler run well. I just don't think he's good enough to win the race. Can you talk a little bit about lead artists as we're about 3 minutes to post, Davey?
Well, I could, but just so you know, his money is flying in for Carl Spackler. He's down to 7-1 now on the UK markets right here on the
Wow.
TV.
Okay.
Yeah, and the bookies are taking cover. So something's going on. There's people betting him. Just so you know, my top 3 would be number 10, Rosalian, number 2, Carl Spackler, number 4, Diego Velasquez. 10, 2, 4 for me. Lead artist, good horse, could be right there, could break up my try. Very, 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 very good winner of the
Lockinge
race Newbury, the Lockinge. But I think he had a better part of the track there, a more advantageous part of the track, and Rosalian was still closing on a first up race. So I think Rosalian comes along a great way. Now, just one more thing. I've got in front of me the Hong Kong betting boards, and this is very interesting because right now the place money has just flown in for Diego Velasquez. I recommend people go to hkjc.com and open up the live betting boards on that page, because you will see 3 different colors. When the price turns green, it means there's been a 25% drop in the price. And when a price turns brown, there's been what they call a 50% drop in the price. And that is a live board. So you can see with a world pool where people from South Africa, Australia, France, and England, and so on are playing, and how that market's reacting. And right now, there's been a big place plunge on Diego Velasquez. He's 2.4 to place, and he's currently 10.0, which is 9-1 on the win market on the world pool. So if I see any dynamic changes on that, I'll note it to people. And those changes can happen very quickly in the last few minutes.
And what's that website again, Davey, please?
hkjc.com. It's the Hong Kong Jockey Club. And when you click on it, you have to open up the horse racing tab. And from there, you follow it to the current odds. Should be fairly straightforward to follow. It's very, very good.
We will try to get that up as well here, as they are, again, they are going to the top of the straight course. Again, we are going to take ourselves off screen, and we're going to be playing the audio. It's probably behind, ladies and gentlemen, what's actually happening live. This is Howard Kravets, Davy Lane, Rian Anderson. We might have some more guests here on the HHH Racing Podcast. Day 1 of the Royal Ascot Meet the Queen Anne is, of course, the first race. It's going to be very, very exciting here. You should get a sense of, what draws perhaps best, high, low, middle, etc. How quick do you think the pace will be, Davey? Who is going to be going forward in this race? You anticipate Carl Spackler and maybe Diego Velasquez going forward from the 1 hole. Is that correct?
No, I'm not sure about Velasquez, but I definitely anticipate Spackler going forward. It's a slow pace. None of these are speed horses. So I think Spackler will take advantage of it, and McDonald's smart enough to take advantage of it. So they'll have to catch him.
Okay. You think that's Carl Spackler's best chance to get a placing here, is just go to the lead and try to bottom out the field, so to speak.
Go to the lead? Yeah. And he's been bought to run in the Cox Plate. He's been bought as a 10-furlong horse for Australia.
Yes.
So they think he can get the distance, and the mile here is a stiff mile. So it may be 8 furlongs, but it's probably like 8.5, 8 3/4 furlongs on a flat course.
I see. He should break like a scolded cat.
Yeah, like a scolded cat. I've just emailed you now, Howard, the Hong Kong betting board.
Okay, terrific.
For this race.
I'm going to take. It looks like there's.
Get that link. You can open it up.
It looks like there's one horse that is a little bit late going to the gate as I'm watching this. When the race is about to go off, I'm going to take everyone off screen, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll play the audio of the race. Again, obviously due to contractual obligations, we can't show the race. I got your email. Thank you, Davey. We can't show the race, the video, but we'll play the audio, and then we'll come back, Ryan and Davey, after, like, literally, I think I'll do a countdown to let you guys know. We'll do a 30-second countdown and bring it back. Ryan, you got excited, man. I know it's early out there, but this is Royal Ascot, baby. Let's go.
Oh, I know. It's I'm on cup of coffee number like 6 right now. Just
I hear you. By the way, Davey, does this look familiar to you? This is the cup I got last year from Royal Ascot. Davey, you're muted.
Let me go back. I just
there we go. I think I was supposed to return this. I think I was supposed to return this, Davey. But
we stole that.
Yes. I hope the Royal Guard or Royal National Guard's not to come after me.
Yeah, that's a £2.50 deposit, Howard. Man, they might have to call the consul.
No, don't do that. All right, we're gonna take everyone off
Sheriff of
screen
Nottingham's
here,
coming for you.
and they are approaching the gate for the Queen Anne, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, the three of us, but I am gonna play the audio. Good luck, everyone, in race 1, the Group 1, Queen Anne, right here on the HHH Racing Podcast.
That he's got today, well, the proof will be in the pudding today. What about Cairo? Now, Cairo's a massive outsider in this race here. I think love Sylvester Sousa. It's 101 chance here. He's got a couple of rides today, Sylvester. Roger's not got that many runners here today. Lead Artist is 6 to 1. Big outsider, Lake Forest is 16 to 1. That's Tom Marquardt. He's got some outsiders. So there we'll be going. It's running a little bit late at the moment. So after this, we're going back to Stratford and have a look at our next race at Stratford, the 240. Jewel or Soleil is going to be your favourite in that race there. It's around about a 6 to 4 chance here for Ben Paul in the two Bens. Ben Jones, who rides. In they go, loading up now. Time here at Royal Ascot. So this is a fascinating Queen Anne Stakes race. Well, I'm going to go Pim McCullers to Resilient. I think Resilient could well be the one, but there's some great horses in this race. There is Resilient. Going to go stall 10. Let's go and join Ian Bartlett. He's the man with the mic today. Let's join Ian. Velasquez. That's it. All them. They're ready. They're off. They race with a mile. Docklands is slow to leave the starting stalls. The pink cap of Lead Artist is the first to show in the Queen Anne with Kudwar in yellow, Carl Spackler the chestnut with a white face. Races in a prominent position in blue. Notable Speech is next, and then Best Turned Out winner Dancing Gemini in the orange stripes. So Rosalian is towards the right, yellow jacket and black spots. Diego Velasquez the extreme left in purple colours. Further back to Docklands, who's next to the blue jacket of Lake Forest, and Cairo in black and white colours is at the rear of the field. They're coming down to the final 5 furlongs, and it's Kudwar, Callum Shepherd leading, but a length ahead to Lead Artist running in second place. Carl Spackler travels along strongly in company with Dancing Gemini in third and fourth places. Diego Velasquez behind these very narrowly in front in the blue of Notable Speech, and then Docklands from Rosalian, who races in company with Lake Forest, and the back marker continues to be Cairo. They're approaching the final 3 furlongs of the Queen Anne with the pink cap of Lead Artist coming to join Kudwar for the lead. Right in behind those on the left, the orange cap of Dancing Gemini. Carl Spackler is there. Covered up his Notable Speech. Docklands making progress. Rosalian, one from the right in the yellow, beginning to launch a challenge as they head down to the final furlong now. Switching right over the far side is Notable Speech. Carl Spackler, but here's Rosalian in the yellow now. Delivered from the back of the field. With him is Docklands. It's Rosalian and Docklands with the white sleeves, who's getting the better as they race towards the line. It'll be on the nod between Docklands and Rosalian. A massive fight for Cairo in third place.
Wow, we start Royal Ascot with a roughie. Davy, a horse that I know some people talked about. We actually didn't even mention this horse. I feel like that's a host fail to start the show. The number 5, Docklands, wins at a good price, just over Rizalian. I didn't catch who was third. Did you guys catch who was third in the race? Sorry, I got you muted. My fault. Who was third?
The one.
Wow, Cairo? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did tag Cairo on the tip sheet as a place play, and one of the big failures of my part was follow the jockey. Mark Zara is an Australian jockey, wins the Melbourne Cup and what have you, and he comes over here for just one ride. He's not like the McDonald thing and a top rider, and we didn't even speak about him. You know, in future, we maybe got to go down horse by horse and talk about things, because that's how we miss stuff, you know?
Sure. Yeah, we could have done that. Well, I'll consider that a host fail, ladies and gentlemen. So apologize for that. Except for the 25 horse field. It's going to be hard to talk about every horse. I know Docklands is a horse that I heard some people mention on podcast, Dave. This is a progressive horse that's really improving at 5, just almost beat Sardinian Warrior 2 back, but was only third in the Betfred Group 3 last race. This is, to me, even though this horse was progressive and interesting, to beat this entire field, to me, is a pretty considerable upset to me.
It is, but it was a very, very, very slow pace. So it basically evened things out. Yeah,
they were really walking, weren't they, Ryan, on the front end? They were really slow.
It seems like this horse loves Ascot. That's his seventh try, and he's never been out of the trifecta here. That's 3 wins, 3 seconds, and a third.
I mean, I'm looking at the still photograph on the TV. It looks like a dead heat to me. I'm surprised they called it. You know, it's one of those pixelated.
Yeah, I thought Docklands definitely had the lead at the wire. I'm not sure what they're showing at this very moment. They're showing the replay.
Rizalian was a lead. Rizalian had the lead for half a nose just before the wire, and then Docklands came back on him. And,
do you think Rizalian moved too late, Davey?
No, I think Levy probably had everybody covered, and he wasn't thinking of Mark Zara. And again, you know, Zara's probably a better jockey than Levy, and that made the difference on the line. And this is why you always have to be aware of who the jockey is, you know, because these are fine margins. Top jockeys make the difference. And Sean Levy's a great jockey, but you know, he's not the top draw that someone like Mark Zara is from Australia. And I'm sick that I never included that in my calculations. I was more focused on the horse, but I wasn't. I was expecting a slow pace, but I was expecting McDonald to neutralize that and go forward. And McDonald was holding Spackler back the whole time. I don't know why he was holding him back, but if he would have just gone, that would have neutralized Docklands. Then again, you don't know what did McDonald and Zara have going on between the two of them, you know? A little Aussie coordination here, you know? I won't go a hard pace, because the reason Docklands won the race is because it was a slow pace till the last 2 furlongs, and then it's anybody's race, you know?
Jockeys make a huge difference in these races, Ryan. Obviously, they do in the Breeders' Cup. Let's talk about Spackler for a second. They were going very slow. Ryan, it looked like a race at Naira sometimes over the summer. I mean, I don't want to guess on the fractions. It could have been as slow as 25 and 50 and something. I mean, they were just galloping along. I don't understand the ride on Spackler for the simple fact, Ryan, that Carl Spackler cannot quicken with these Euros. I mean, he's very good. But why not just go ahead and, I mean, if the pace is that slow, why not just go on with it and take your chances? We talked about that before the race. I guess the jock thought he had more in the tank. I don't know if he was good enough anyway, but I just don't like that ride.
No, I don't like the ride either. And I'll be honest, I mean, obviously it's kind of looking back now, but I wonder why they didn't bring, a jockey that might be a little more suited to his kind of running style over. Obviously, I don't think Pratt's going to make the trip, or Gaffleone's still recovering, but like, I don't know, Frankie Dettori, I feel like he's very familiar with Ascot, and he's very familiar with how to ride like an American stationed turf horse, I guess. So I don't know. I felt like a guy like him, he maybe would have known more of what to do with a horse like Carl Spackler. Because I agree, you're not going to outkick these Euros. You got to get out to the front and just hope you can, outlast them. They were not moving fast whatsoever, and that was a straight mile too. So they weren't even going around turns where they could go 25 and 50. They were just going straight.
Davey, I was trying to pick up Diego Velasquez. There was never an intent for him to go to the lead. He just didn't run very well. He'll be much better next time out. He just didn't run very well.
Yeah, he missed the break. Oh,
he did.
I thought
Cairo, The other horse that was noted to go forward was Cairo, and Cairo was sweating up badly before the race, and he missed the break too. And I think Russell Lyon, I think Levy would have been expected to follow Cairo on his outside, and that was the pace he was expecting to follow. And he found himself he found no Cairo in front of him, and instead he was behind Carl Spackler. Well, that's plan B. Carl Spackler will go forward, and he didn't go forward either. So poor Sean Levy got stuck in third on the outside or the inside grandstand side behind two different horses, Lead Artist and Carl Spackler, and they weren't going a good pace. So he did well enough to get as close as he was, and then it became a sprint over a furlong and a half. And
we have Mike Saletta is listening also. Lead Artist was in a good spot, and I think he took the lead probably about the 6 furlong mark, and then he flattened out also. It was a bit of an oddly run race because the pace was so slow, Davey.
Yeah. Well, at least I have one takeaway. I did advise on the tip sheet to keep an eye out for in the tries for Cairo. So if anyone got cute with Docklands, hopefully they found Cairo too. So
yeah, that is going to pay very, very well. Now, as a side note, I just want to mention there is a contest. There's a contest from Twin Spires, and I am playing it, and I have 2 entries, and we'll keep people up to date. That I did play. You don't have to play every race. You have to play 4 of the 7 races. I have 2 entries. On one entry, I played the first race. I didn't spend my entire bankroll. I spent $40 US. Didn't do very well. Just to let everyone know what I did do. Chris Couples is here. Chris is already. See you go, Davey. It's not easy. Chris is already out of the contest. He spent his $100 and just went for it, and it didn't happen. But I hear you. Sorry about that, Chris. Just to let everyone know what I did do. I'm not going to show my bet, but I will say what I did because I'm an honest guy, as Ryan knows. I did a $1 try, Ryan. I played Roslyn on top over 3 horses overall. And then I also played an exacta with Roslyn in second. But, dang it, I didn't have Docklands in on top. I had Diego Velasquez and Lead Artist over Roslyn. Over Roslyn. I wish I had that exacta. Do you know what that exacta paid, Ryan? Are they in yet in the Whirlpool? Do
I don't believe so. I can go ahead and check, but no,
it takes a while. Yeah, it takes a while.
I'm checking,
but
I made the mistake of
I'll tell you right
not
now,
looking at the. I made a mistake of not looking at the international tip sheet. Otherwise, I would have seen Cairo on there for Davy Lane because as they were going in, I figured I might as well play a fun little try, and I used all the horses we talked about, and I keyed Docklands, but I did not use Cairo anywhere. So that's too bad, but there's always another race.
Davey, the exacta paid $75 US for $1. $1 exacta. Docklands over Roslyn, 75. That's $150 for 2, Davey. So if people were able to snuff out Docklands, that paid very well. Again, people that want to play in the contest, it is available on Twin Spires. You need to have a Twin Spires account. It is a $150 contest. $50 goes to the prize pool, $100 to your bankroll. You have to bet. It's interesting, Ryan, in this contest, there's only one place exacta try. There's no horizontal betting because of the pools, Ryan. You have to only bet 4 of the 7 races. You can bet any increments you want, Ryan, as long as you bet a total of $100. So that is you could bet 90 on one race and 10 on the other and be good. Well, no, that's not true. You have to bet 2 other races. You can bet, $92 on a race, then go 2 on the other 4 if you really wanted to. So I'm going to show the contest as we go throughout the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we have over 550 people watching live. Welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast. To my right is Davy Lane, who lives in Liverpool, England. He's an excellent punter, handicapper, a good friend of the show, friend of mine. We traveled throughout Europe last year. And then this guy at the bottom of the screen is Ryan Anderson. Ryan, I only introduced you mainly as the co-host of Pacific Horse Players, but let me introduce yourself to the world. A lot of people are probably not familiar with you. Very quickly, tell everyone all of your adventures and new things that you're doing in the horse racing world.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always working on something else new out here. But interned at Del Mar last summer for those that don't know, and then was teaming up with Frank Scottoni a couple times over summer for a seminar he does, and then made a YouTube channel And then Howard, you brought me onto your channel as we created Pacific Horse Players with Noah Maher, all because I sent you a happy birthday DM. So shout out to birthdays everywhere.
Absolutely.
And then, Jackson Muniz and myself, we have a couple shows on my channel, The Gallop Out. And then recently for the Triple Crown season, America's Best Racing took Jackson and I. We got our own show called The Saturday Show, where we show some live racing every week, do some handicapping and betting analysis, including strategies, ticket structure, all the good stuff like that. So that's been a ton of fun. We're encouraged to drink and cuss during the shows, so there's nothing wrong with any of that. And hey, I'm degenerate. So 6:30 in the morning to wake up and bet some races that I haven't looked at since last year. Nothing wrong with that in my eyes.
No, and then tell everyone where they can find you and explain, for especially people watching in Europe right now throughout the world, explain your X handle there at 20 lengths clear.
That's right. You can you can find me on X at 20 lengths clear. That is a Trevor Denman call from the Pacific Classic in 2023. I forget what year it was, but it was Flightline's call when he won by about the length of the stretch at Del Mar. I was there that day. That was one of the best race calls I've ever heard, and easily the best horse I've ever seen in my lifetime. So yeah, that is the story, I guess, behind the X handle there.
There we go.
And over at the Gallop Out on YouTube channel. But
yeah, in the lead right now. Let me bring this on the screen if people can see this on the right side there. There's about 20 people in the contest right now, Davey. There's still time. Look who's in the lead. Peter Thomas Fornatel from In the Money Media obviously had Docklands. Actually, we can see what he did, which is cool, Davey, in this contest. I don't know if you can see that, Davey. You can see what other people did. He had 15 to win, if you can see that. He had 15 to win on Docklands. He also played some exactas with Docklands without Rosaline, interesting, but he had 15 to win on Docklands. Nice job, Pierre Thomas Fornatel. So that's the cool thing about that contest, Davey. You can actually see other people's bets, which is very interesting.
Okay.
So there you go.
So the try, just to let you know, the try paid £2,700 just now.
Whoa. There you go, 27.30. Wow.
That's decent.
That would have been nice to have. That would have taken
like,
care of your not just your day, Ryan, your month and maybe 2 months worth right there for you.
Yeah, would have taken me through the summer at Del Mar for sure.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of opportunities. Chris Couple said, "Encourage a drink and curse on the show," and I've not been on. What? You got to get Chris on your show, Ryan.
We'll have you on this Saturday.
All right, there. Oh, there you go. I've got his contact information, by the way, if you need it. All right, let's get on to
one thing. Richard Hannon, the trainer of Russell Lyon, is being interviewed right now, and he looks shocked. Like you have that. He looks completely shocked, like he was expecting to win this.
Wow.
Looks very disappointed. The slow pace screwed him. Okay, moving on.
Yes, let's go on to the next race, Dave. The next race is very interesting. It's the Coventry, which I'm going to bring on here and screen in just a minute. This is a Group 2, I believe. It is for the 2-year-olds. Now, interesting story here.
Yeah.
Interesting story, Ryan and Davey, and both of you know this. There's a gentleman named Wesley Ward, who's the best 2-year-old trainer basically in the United States, who's had winners at Ascot, has 0 runners, is not bringing any runners over at all this year to Ascot, which is actually quite a surprise, Ryan. He had a monster horse called Outfielder who won off the screen at Churchill, if you remember, that they were planning to bring over. He got injured. He just doesn't love a lot of his runners. Neither one of his turf horses qualified in the Gulfstream Park races, Ryan. And it's a little bit of a shame, although we do have a talented American running later today, just not in this race.
Yeah, Wesley is obviously very familiar with coming over to Ascot. We all know that when we see his 2-year-olds run at Keeneland, we know their next stop is to ship over here. Outfielder looked like a special one for sure. The way he won, how easily he did it, and how kind of grown up he looked in his debut was definitely impressive. Bummed we're not going to see him out here, but a lot of times when he's shipped over, at least in the recent years, in my recent memory, they don't ship back the same. They don't seem to have the same. Maybe it takes a lot out of them shipping that far as a lightly raced 2-year-old. You're still new to this, so I look forward to seeing what his 2-year-olds are going to do in the States this summer, likely at Saratoga, maybe even out at Del Mar if he ships them out our way. But we won't see him. But, this race still has 20 entrants, so I don't think they're missing him too much overseas at Ascot.
Let's talk about this race, Davey. And you know what? We're not going to make the same mistake again. We're going to literally go through every horse. But, Davey, let's do this. Horses that we don't really think much of, we'll spend literally 5 seconds on. But let's make sure we do that so we don't make our Docklands mistake. Right now in the UK market, you have Postmodern, a Wathnon horse. Gestad in right now also taking money, Military Code. Ondab, I know a horse you're interested in, Davey, that has a form line from a horse named Albert Einstein that we need to talk about, who's not in this race because he's too smart to be in this race, Albert Einstein. Actually, he had a little bit of a nick, a little bit of an injury. Otherwise, Albert Einstein would have been the clear favorite here. Let me go ahead and bring up the past performances, Davey, and we can very, very quickly go through the races. We have only about 12 minutes, Davey. We got to move along here. Sorry. Bourbon Blues is an outsider. So is Kolkata Knight. Rakib, another outsider. So is the 7. Sorry, Davey.
Oh.
Davey, are you muted? We can't hear you.
Yeah. So do you want to do it by draw number?
Oh, yeah, I was going to do it by draw number. It gets a lot easier for me to do it by draw number, if that's okay. All right, we're having some audio issues with Davey right now, so I don't know if you can. Davey, go ahead and try again.
I was going to do you want to do this in a sequential way, or do you want to do it by the market prices?
Well, I'm going to do it by draw number because we can show the horses here just for right now, if that's okay. Okay, yep, I can hear you. Warsaw is a horse that came from a little bit off. I watched a lot of replays, Ryan. I deep dived, man, this race. Warsaw for Aidan O'Brien, won from the outside post and made a... Warsaw made a little bit of a later move. He didn't go to the lead. He looks like a nice horse, a little bit one pace. I think the distance is going to help Warsaw. Quick thoughts on Warsaw, Davey?
Yeah. Maybe I'll... can you hear me?
Yes,
maybe
but
I'll
there's
reconnect.
a delay.
You want me to...
Do you want to reboot, Davey? It's up to you. Okay. All right, so Davey's going to reboot. We'll get him back. Let's talk here. Warsaw came from behind a little bit. I think he's going to like the 6 furlongs. American Gulf, I know, is a horse that some people are interested in. That's a very fast time, Ryan, for the level. Is 11-1 right now.
I have that horse in 5th.
Power Blue. Now, this is important to talk. Power Blue is coming out of a race with Albert Einstein. You can see on the screen. Albert Einstein is mainly regarded as one of the top 2-year-olds in Europe. Albert Einstein is not in this race. Power Blue was in that race and finished 2nd, and finished 3rd was a horse that I know Davey likes called Ondab, which we're going to talk about as well. But Power Blue at 16-1 with an outside shot facing a very tough horse. Rock of Thunder is a price. Ballistic Missile, we need to get Davey on. He likes this horse at a big price, by the way, Ryan. Ballistic Missile. I'll let Davey talk. It's a Richard Hannon horse out of Memos, which is a very good sprinting sire in Europe. Shatir, 16-1.
That's a horse I like a little bit.
Okay. 56-1. Feel free to jump in. Gestad, or I think it's just pronounced Stadt, is another Aidan O'Brien. Ryan, we're not going to show a lot of replays for obvious time purposes, but to let everyone know, of course, I deep dove. Gestad was actually in behind horses, Ryan, was very patient and split late and won. It showed a lot of professionalism. I believe Stadt has actually come from a little bit further back for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien. Did you look at this horse at all?
I did look at this horse, and I mainly looked at the jockey booking because that tells a big tale with a lot of these races. So the fact that Ryan Moore's aboard, that's going to draw me to this horse. I know Star Spangled Banners are typically pretty all right with their 2-year-olds. So I have this one 4th currently. So I have this one 4th, but tough 2-year-old race where I'm gonna pick some prices and hope I can get lucky.
Yeah, that's never a bad idea in terms of prices. And Davy Lane's coming back on, ladies and gentlemen, here in just a minute. Last year, a horse won an 80-1, who's actually running today. And by the way, the American I was thinking of is running tomorrow. That's the
Was the horse that won this
Lenny
last
Lou
year?
is tomorrow. We got
Was the
Davey.
horse-
Let's see.
Oh,
Davey,
okay.
give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. We'll bring Davey back on. All right.
I'm back on. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead, Davey.
I was watching my TV on a streaming service as opposed to just the terrestrial, dog ears up on the top of the roof. So maybe that was causing more power down the line. So
We were going down the field. You sounded and better, and you look better also, Davey. You're looking sharp, my friend. We were just talking about Stott, but I want to give you a chance to talk about number 3 Ballistic Missile for a minute, who you like as a roughie, 27-1 right now.
yeah, son of Maymas, and trainer Richard Hannon, who was just vanquished in that last race, trained Maymas, and there's one of 2 Maymases in the race, and you can't avoid a Maymas, man. Those are, as Ryan will know, when the Maymases arrive in California, they take on everything and win. Global Power was one a couple of years ago. So I'm hot for that, and I think this trainer Hannon always has a horse ready for this race. So I like that as a roughie. It won its debut. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be in a good place for this race. It's a roughie shot. It's just the shot. The horse I've actually tipped would be Andab, which I tipped on the tipping sheet about a month ago.
Yes,
it was very, very close to Albert Einstein in its opener, and I think it's primed for this race. So that would be my horse. That Andab is currently 7-1. Ballistic Missiles 25s on the betting boards in the UK at the moment.
Davey, you're getting 14-1 here in the Whirlpool on Andab right now, who went to the lead in that race and was on the the near side rail in that race and ran very well. My gut feel, Davey, in this race is there's a lot of early speed. Would you like to see Andab sit a bit off and make a run, or do you want him just to send and take his chances?
I would like him to sit a bit off. I think he's on the grandstand side where there's basically 4 good chances. So I think I'd rather him being half a length behind one of those or some other horse on that side.
Last year this race was won by Rochabard 80-1. 5 years ago, a horse at a 150-1 won this race. Davey, you really people can bet any way they want. Feel free, ladies and gentlemen, to play how you want to play. But it just feels like in a 20 horse plus 2-year-old race going 6 furlongs at Ascot, you want to take some chances and go with some roughies here, right, Davey? In general,
you sure do. And on the Whirlpool, the default favorite is Gustad, Ryan Moore, and Aidan O'Brien. I mean, yeah, it was impressive on its debut, but again, I think it's a backup horse to what was the O'Brien favorite. Yeah, it could win, but in a 20 horse race like this, you take a price, take 7-2 or something. I'm not sure I could do that. So
Postmodern is 6-1. Ryan, I watched this replay. We see a lot of 2-year-old races, right, in the States, and sometimes they run off the screen, and you know what to make of it. I don't know how good Postmodern is, but I gotta tell you, his replay, he wasn't even touched. I mean, he looked like a Wesley Ward Keeneland 2-year-old that just looked like a complete monster. The problem I have, Ryan, is he didn't face much there, and this is just gonna be a completely different situation. And the fact that he's 6-1, which to me is actually a little bit cold on the board based on his video from his first race, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to take a short price in a 2-year-old race. You mentioned an 80-1 upset winner last year in here, so it's all about finding something to to spice things up as a price in here. So I don't disagree with that maybe 5-2 is a fair price given the blowout win on debut, but that's not one that I'm going to be trailing in this spot.
Yeah, Postmodern 2 weeks ago was the 4-1. Once Einstein came out, was the 4-1 favorite for this 7-2 favorite, and it's drifted right out largely because the form of the horses that he beat that day, they've since come back and ran in last and in last and in last. I mean, so that's why
right.
Questioning the form.
Do you have any opinions, Davey? You went back off. You went off screen to get back on. The horses there on the lower draw. I know you like Tricky Tell, who's scratched a little bit. Any of these roughies on the lower draws? Again, these numbers, ladies and gentlemen, are not their post position numbers. These are the program numbers. how do you feel about Warsaw or any of these other longer shots on the got the lower draws?
Yeah, Warsaw, no. Warsaw's just come into the race because, again, O'Brien needed to throw another one in. He's only had one
Okay.
race. He's only had one race, and the same with the other O'Brien horse. And O'Brien usually likes to have his horses have 2 races before coming into this. So I think that's the reason to toss both of them. Well, at least I have anyway.
American Golf is getting some love in the market, Davey. I know some smart people think American Golf is interesting. What's your opinion on that horse?
Yeah, it was the money horse all week. It was closing in. It was as low as 8-1 this morning, but it's now on a lesser price. What price is he now? He's 11-1 on the market. So he's drifted over the course of the day. The money has just come in for Postmodern. A big green splash on the Hong Kong board. He's now 6.0. It's 25% reduction in his price. So someone's taken a big swing on Postmodern across the world 5 minutes before the race.
Now, Davey, especially for those people in the United States, when you say a big swing, how much money? What kind of win bet are we talking about? How many dollars would you estimate?
Well, he was 7.6 literally 30 seconds ago, and now he's 6.0.
We thought like $100,000 to win, or 50,000.
I'm not sure how much is in the pool, but a green marker on this board, and it's very good, tells you that 25% of its money has just gone onto this horse.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Katie likes military code. What's up, Jose Manuel Camacara? Desde Bejuma, Venezuela, en la segunda gana el 12 fijo. What's up, Jose? We want Jose to gane. Correct, Davey? That's what we want Jose to do. Yeah. Thanks for watching the show. Muchas gracias, Jose. Thanks for watching. Trish is here. Love the live shows. Will you be doing any more live shows this week? Love the international raising with Davey. Trish, we do not plan on it, but I don't know. What are you doing tomorrow at 6 a.m? we could change that. I don't know.
I'm gonna be up watching these races no matter what. If there's a live show going, I'm gonna join.
All right.
So you just let me know.
I'll tell you what, Ryan. We've got 600 plus people watching live right now. 600 plus. If we get to around 1,000, if we get to 1,000 at some point, I might have to change my mind of what we're doing the rest of the week here. So look, Trish, you want more shows this week, Trish? Call all your friends in Lexington, get them on. Let's go. Get them on. Get them on the screen. Terry wants it. Terry's like, let's do it.
Here's interesting.
We got 2 minutes.
Andab on the UK TV, on the UK markets, is showing a green arrow up 11-2. Money coming for Andab. Meanwhile, Andab on the Hong Kong, on the Whirlpool is 14-1. Massive difference between the two.
I was just going to try and mention Andab is the horse I landed on as my top pick in here. Funny story. This is the first time, Davey, that I heard your voice was for this one's full sibling Victoria Road on the Breeders' Cup preview show in 2022. Okay. This one's full sibling. You tipped out Victoria Road, and I made a bunch of money on that horse. So thank you for that. Right. This one's full sibling is Andab, and they seem to do some good running as a 2-year-old. So I want to see what this one does. So I'll give Andab my top.
Andab now into 5-1 on the UK TV, looking at it live, and it remains 14.0 or 13-1 on the Whirlpool. Massive distinction.
David, give me your top 3 in the Coventry, please.
The top 3 in the Coventry: number 2, Andab; number 12, Postmodern; number 3, Ballistic Missile.
2, 12, 3 for Davy Lane. Ryan, your top 3 is we're about a minute and a half to post.
The 2, Andab, 13, Power Blue, and the 16, Shatir are my top 3.
I'm going to not proudly somewhat chalk out here. I'm going 9, 12, 2. I like what I saw from Stadt because I think this is going to be very fast paced and he's going to close like a train. I'll go Postmodern second, and I do like Andab in third. And at a much bigger price, I'm a little bit interested in Underwriter, one of the horses, James McDonald. We have not talked about him very much. Underwriter, a horse for Wathnon. Davey, again, I will say that Post 10 has won this race several times. The high draws seem to do well in this race in general. We'll see what happens. It looks like they're going to the gate. It's obviously going to take, about a minute, but they're entering the gate. So, Davey, last thought before they.
Thought. There won't be a low horse drawn here winning because Tricky Teller's out and he was good pace.
Okay.
The central to high horses is where the winner comes from. So that basically means anywhere from American Gulf, who's drawn, I think, 8 upwards.
Yeah.
So I expect a high drawn number to win. And another thing to look for, as I'm watching the TV right now, and I might be on a different time than you, the English jockeys are much more adept at like deciding when they want to go into the stall. You know, they'll hang around and sneak around at the back. They don't have a procession where they get marched in. It's always very good for a late bet to watch which jockey's keeping the horse out of the stall the longest.
All right, I'm going to take you guys off the screen, Davey. We're going to play the audio of the race. Good luck, everyone, in the Coventry.
And each way number 5. They're out against the field. Although I think Gustard might win it. That could win it at that price. But certainly, no doubt about it, it's going to be a tricky old race. A little bit of money for Andab. That was the one I was telling you, in the Andab for Joseph O'Brien. Here we go. Is race 2. They're off and racing in the Coventry Stakes. Kolkata Knight was away quickly, the red and blue far side. The near side Koppel in the red in company with Super Soldier Blue with the white stars. Bone Mara is forward over on the far side, followed by Power Blue in the purple. Rock on Thunder is also there over on the far side with Bourbon Blues. The near side Koppel, Super Soldier, followed by Underwriter in the gold, and then Tardej. They're tracked by Military Code and Postmodern also in the near side group with Gustard. And then Andab in the silver. Chartier is well back on the near side with Ballistic Missile Garvu just about at the back. The far side group towards the left. They have Power Blue up there with Kolkata Knight, Rock on Thunder. Bone Mara is following. Warsaw is also over on the far side as the field run inside the 2 here. The far side Power Blue. The near side Gustard is coming through purple and white down the centre of the course. Rakeb far side with Warsaw as well. Gustard down the centre of the track. Might just be in front here as they run inside the last furlong. Gustard over on the far side. Power Blue, Rock on Thunder. Koppel is over on the near side. It's Gustard striding up towards the line with the advantage here in the hands of Ryan Moore. And Gustard makes it an 11th Coventry Stakes for Aidan O'Brien. Do or do not running on well to press for a place with Koppel. And also the near side Andab and Power Blue next.
In the race again, Aidan O'Brien is
Howard's top pick winner, Stad, wins the Coventry and did it very, very well. Right down the middle of the track. Davey, your horse, Andab, ran very big on the far side of the. Oh, wait a minute. A Guinness. Does that mean that's a score for Davy Lane?
No, that means I'm starting to drink early, you know.
All right, I don't know if that's good or bad, but anyway, Gestad wins for Ryan Moore over Andab over, believe that was the number, was it the 5? And was it Bourbon Blue? No, it was a red horse. Who got third, guys? Calcutta Knight at a huge price. Gestad Ryan, or Stad wins Ryan at looks like around 7-2 in the European pool. What was he in our pool here in the world pool?
7-2.
Okay, so he was co-favorite. We talked about maybe not going with favorites. Ryan, this is where, look, I got lucky. Okay, congratulations to me. I mean, I didn't pick exactly a roughie, but I did pick a horse out of a 20-horse field. I'll take that. But Ryan, as you know, very much like I think Jackson and Noah and perhaps yourself and some other people on the podcast, I'm very much a visual handicapper. And when you watch a lot of races, even if a horse doesn't necessarily have the fastest time, Davey, or doesn't have the fastest time form number, the way they do it is very
the horse
important.
had a will to win. Yeah.
And the will to win. And Stad Ryan was in behind horses again, found the split about halfway through the race, was completely unencumbered. And when Ryan Moore asked, this horse really took off. And I said earlier, about 10 minutes ago, that I thought Stad would really appreciate this distance, and I thought there'd be a fast pace. And boy, he won for this level out of a 20 horse field. He won by 2 or 3. That was very impressive.
Yeah, for fun. Yeah, it was for fun, no doubt. It's a good 2-year-old, and I think I'm not sure, Davey, what you think, but I think we might see a couple of these at Del Mar in the fall for the Breeders' Cup. You know, we saw a couple last year come over, so I'd wonder if any of them make the trip.
Yeah, I got locked into 2 or 3 week old thinking there, and I wasn't really, I think I missed that race live when it was on, and I glanced at the thing, and his will to win. I dropped the ball on that. I should have included him in a play, but there you go. Anyway, this podcast is brought to you by
Guinness.
Guinness
beer. There you go. I love it. Look good, Davey. I was watching. It's hard for me. It's hard to watch these races, Davey. I'm sure you had your eye on Ondab and also the 3. How do you feel about the ride and the effort by Ondab, who came from a little bit from behind, was not on the lead, as I think you might have anticipated?
Yeah, well, I had him in a place multi, and and in the UK in races like that, the bookies offer 4 and 5 places, so he's still alive for me in a bet, so that's fine. 5 to 1 was the return price, and the bookies here, if you take a shorter price, they'll give you a higher price, etc., etc. So, not a complete disaster for me yet. But anyway, we move on.
Davey, I realized in the little play spot bet that I made, I didn't put Rosalind in there, so I'm actually out of that bet because I didn't have Docklands either, which is a bummer. So, but okay. I did have the 2 and the 9, so I wish I had one of those in the first. I made a very small Ryan for S's and Giggles. They have a place pick all. Well, not place pick all, but they have a place pick all kind of bet for the first 6 races out in Europe that Davey made. You can't bet it here. I didn't have one of the top 2. I sort of took some prices in the first leg. I used 4 horses in the race we just watched, and 2 of the 4 actually come 1-2. So that would have been good if I had a place horse. I should have used Rosaline in hindsight, but anyway, that's sort of a fun bet. And actually, as we start here, and we're going to take a break, by the way, gentlemen, in a few minutes, just to let Davey and Ryan know so they can stretch their legs, and so to speak. Again, you're watching the HHH Racing Podcast here live, Royal Ascot Day 1. I'm your host, Howard Kravets, along with Davy Lane from Liverpool, England, and Ryan Anderson from San Diego. Do you actually live in San Diego proper, Ryan?
Of course.
Okay,
of course, San Diego proper. Yeah.
All right, San Diego, California. To let everyone know right off the start, race 3, which is the next race. This is very important, Ryan, especially for people involved in the whirlpool and punters throughout the world, but especially those that live in the United States. Race 3, which starts, and let's see, how much time do we have? We're probably about 25 minutes or so. Yeah. 25 minutes. There is a pick 4. There is a pick 4, a very popular horizontal bet here in the United States. And the base, let me just check this, Ryan, for a second.
And why'd you have to tell me that? Now I got to play it.
Well, it is a $1. Ooh, it's a $1 base bet, Davy Lane and Ryan. So anyone who's interested in playing the Whirlpool pick 4, that means the winner of the next 4 races. It's a $1 base. Davey, I don't know, but considering it's a Whirlpool and there's a lot of American punters probably watching now that's a little bit later in the day here, or later in the morning, I got a feeling, Davey and Ryan, this could be a pretty nice pick 4 pool. A lot of liquidity, I would think.
It should be. And on top of the liquidity, there's going to be a lot of, for lack of a better word, dumb money in this pool, and I will absolutely be part of that.
It's not a Whirlpool.
Well, go ahead, Davey.
listen,
Are you muted?
If it is a whirlpool event, it's not a whirlpool event that's available in the UK. So maybe the whirlpool offers different options. No, I'm not muted.
I see.
No.
No, you're good. We can hear you now. We can hear you, Davey.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so it might be only for American punters, which is very, very interesting.
Hello?
Let me just introduce the next race. And ladies and gentlemen, listening and watching, and we have almost 700 people watching. Thank you so much. Let me do a few particulars.
So
you can listen to this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We also have a great tip sheet. Look below the video player, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube for information about our Power Picks tip sheet, which is a Saturday only tip sheet. It's very inexpensive. It's very profitable. It's mainly for American racing. And we have a great website as well, hhhracingpodcast.com. If you're not familiar, please check that out. Of course, we want you to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen on YouTube and smash that thumbs up button, that like button below the video player. And then also on the top right of YouTube, hit that notification bell so that you know when new content will arise. The next race is race 3 that we're going to be discussing. This is the sprint race, a very good 5 furlong sprint race. It's the King Charles III with some of the top sprinters in Europe and also from Australia. And before we talk about the race, we are going to take about a 2-minute break to give Davey, myself, and Ryan a little bit of chance to stretch. So we're going to be back. Let me put it on the screen right now. We're going to be back in about 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about race 3. The King Charles is about 24 minutes to post. You're watching the HHH Racing Podcast, Day 1, Royal Ascot. We are back here live. I'm your host, Howard Kravets, on with Ryan Anderson and Davy Lane. Davy, just up, you're unmuted. There we go. Davy's enjoying his Guinness here. We are coming up on race 3. Davy, just let you know, the contests were all good, my friend. So everything's, we got the bets in that we wanted there. Davy and I are sort of working together a little bit here. Let's talk about the next race, gentlemen, coming up. Race 3 has approximately, how many minutes to post do we have here, guys? About 15 or
16.
So? 16 minutes to post. Very interesting sprint race, Davey. It is the King Charles III. Let me go ahead and bring on the market right now as I go ahead and get that up on the screen. The favorite right now is Believing. Talk about that horse as I get everything up on the screen here.
Okay, Believing was a long-time horse belonging to a different owner up until this spring when the Coolmore guys jumped in and bought the horse ahead of the Alcove Sprint, and which has subsequently went and won after being a bridesmaid the previous year, placing very unlucky in all the races it's ran. It went to Japan, it went over the world, and it kept getting soft ground and was unlucky. Coolmore saw the advantage. They bred it, they raced it, it won, and they bred it to Frankel after the Alcoves, and it's now in foal. And that's often a signal to bet a horse. I don't know if it's on the PPs, but if you're ever in France on the French form, they do a little green love heart in the racing form to show you that the horse is in foal. They don't do that here. It's often a secret.
Interesting.
I think a couple of years ago, I told you about a horse that was in foal before a race at Ascot, Howard,
yes.
And we both bet on it. A horse with no name or something like this. I forget the name. William Buick for Nicky Henderson. I know Nicky Henderson's driver, so I was aware of that. But I wasn't. But this is quite this. This is well flagged. Everyone knows it's in foal, so there's no sort of. It's baked into the price already. And the statistics say that it doesn't actually mean very much, but my God, every time I see a horse in foal, it usually wins. So
interesting.
And the word on the street is that Believing is training very, very well. And subsequent to this win just recently there by Gustad, who would deny O'Brien coming back with another winner. So
very, very interesting. Believing has a lot of form lines with Osphora and Regional. We showed 2 replays, Davey, on the preview show. We showed the Alquaz this year, and we showed last year's rendition of this race. We're not going to show the replays, but off the top of your head, if you recall those 2 races, Believe Osphora won last year when we were there. She's 7 years old now. She puts blinkers on. She hasn't run quite as well in her 2 runnings this year. We're talking about the number 12, the Australian horse. I'm against her this year, Davey.
So am I. I was against it last year because it's a group 3 journey man. But there you go. But it hasn't had a run this year. No prep. And the trainer, when interviewed on Australian media a few days ago, was saying they're going to retire at the end of the year and they're going to look at sprint races throughout Europe. So this is the first of 3 or 4 big races the horse will run at. I don't think it's fully prepped, and reaching for the blinkers is not a good sign for me. I'm against.
And what do you think about Regional, who's been facing very good horses last year in this race? And Ryan, we'll get to your comments in a minute here. Last year in this race, Regional was was on the stand side and had a weird running, was like looking around and was like looking to its left and seemed distracted, but came on late and ran very well, and then ran well again, Ryan, in the Alquaz, just coming up short to Believing. I think Regional right here, I see, again, this is the UK market, definitely has a shot here in this race.
Yeah, definitely has a shot. To the point on Believing, David, I'm curious, do you think breaking from the 1 post, do you think that's going to be a disadvantage going these 5 furlongs, or do you think it doesn't matter?
Probably a disadvantage, given what we've just seen. I would be with the high numbers, but then I don't think it makes much of a difference at this stage. I think you've got to be where the pace is. The ground seems to be supposedly faster on the stand side, but I think we're splitting hairs. Regional has a good draw of 17 historically. They're going to probably break into two sides. It's really where the pace is.
Right. Well, the last race was run by a horse down the middle, and then Ondab was on the far side, right, Davey? So and the third place runner was on the near side. I don't really see a bias right now, to be honest. Would you agree, Davey?
Yeah, no, do I. No, I don't see a bias either. So I would look where the pace is.
Okay, no problem. I'm making a little bet in the contest here, Davey. I'll get back to you off, through our WhatsApp, Davey, about what's going on about that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Because
I mean, regional was from a
Say again, please.
Regional is a horse that won one of the big Group 1s in Britain, maybe 5 or 6 races back, but otherwise has been a bit of a bridesmaid, always getting close but never winning. So it's got one, it's got one big win in the chamber. Whether it can do it again, I don't know.
Yeah, believing right now is 2-1. Kurdos.
There's a horse there I like, Rumstar on the TV.
Balmoral Lady. Rumstar is a horse you like at a price, Davey.
Yeah, he's now into 14-1. There seems to be money coming from him. I've bet the horse, and I'm looking at the Hong Kong board for the Whirlpool price, and I bet it's going to be higher than the UK price, and it is. It's 37-1 on the Whirlpool, and in the UK it's been shortening from. I took it at 22-1 this morning, and it's now 14-1. So there's money coming from the UK, but that money hasn't arrived in the Whirlpool. That's a very interesting discrepancy.
Very interesting. Let me go ahead as I'm just doing some things on the side. We're big time multitasking here on the HHH Racing Podcast, Ryan, because we're involved in the contest as well. So,
of course.
We got to take care of it. You got Jassur, Night Raider. Let's talk about Night Raider, Davey. I know you've tipped this horse out. He's currently 9-1 right now. Approximately that price. I thought he'd take a little bit more money, to be very honest. So I'm not. I wouldn't say he's cold on the board. I thought he would take a little more money. I guess we should be happy that he's not taking money. Talk about Night Raider for Carl Burke, coming out of 6 furlong races and now shortening up to 5, Davey.
He's cold on the board because all the money has flown in for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien. So he's gone out from 7-1 to 10-1, both on the Hong Kong board and on the UK betting markets. He's basically the same price on both. This is a horse that's been running at 6 or 7 furlongs. It breaks out of the gates very fast. It runs hard, and it's been cut back to a distance where I think it won't be caught. He's my biggest play of the day so far. A straight win bet on. Yeah.
Wow,
Davey,
Ryan, there you go, Ryan.
Is it a concern that this horse has only won on the synthetic and not the turf yet? I mean, obviously you don't think so, but that was the main thing that I noticed.
His last race in a Group 2 was over 6 furlongs, and he was in the lead for about 5.6 of those furlongs, and only caught up by the best 6 furlong sprinters at the very end. He's right there he's right there for the speed. He'll be right there most of the way. If he gets beat, there'll be a bunch finish where he gets beat on the nose by 2 or 3 closers. He'll be right there.
Who's the other?
Go ahead, Howard.
Davey, who's the other early speed that might burn up Night Raider that you're concerned about?
I'm not sure there's anyone who'll match him for early speed. I think he'll go strongly on the far side on his own. American Affair is very, very fast early. That's a handicap horse. When we say handicapping horse, a horse that hasn't really been involved in group races up until this last race, and that was a poor race from him. But he's early speed. We'll see. Well, I'm just looking down. West Acre, now there's early speed. West Acre is only a 3-year-old. That has lots and lots of speed. That'll be on one side. It'll split into 2, and it'll be West Acre on one side and Night Raider on the other. They will lead the 2 groups as you walk in. That'll be how it is.
The cool thing, Ryan, is they're going to be literally 100 yards apart from each other, and it's not like Wes Acre is going to bother Night Raider, Ryan. That's so different from American racing, obviously.
It is,
right?
yeah. No, it's complete opposite for how the race, or completely different from how the races are run in the U.S. But that's kind of what makes it cool. Davey, I want to ask, just because I have to for myself and for Charlie Freeman, who I'm sure is watching. Do you give any chance to the number 9 Starlust, a horse that I picked in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and somehow rightfully so hasn't done too much out of that race, but lost to Ka Ying Rising and came back last time out. Do you give this one any chance?
Yeah, I do. As Howard knows, I tipped this one. Howard saw my ticket at 33 to 1 at Del Mar.
You did.
I had this last year, and it was just it was ready at that time for that race on a tight corner going around. It needs firm turf, so it's got a chance. I'm not sure it's as good as some of these. Often we talk about the Breeders' Cup and World Championships, but not to piss on the parade, but sometimes the world's best horses don't go to that, And I'm not saying the British are the best sprinters, but Starlust was not one of Britain's best sprinters, and it went to that race. So,
I remember. Thank you for that. I remember a horse like Believing was supposed to go there, and he either was an early scratch, or she was either a late scratch the morning of, or she acted up in the gate and was scratched. So I remember Believing was one that was supposed to run there.
Yeah, she was there, and she started turning. She started turning around and going backwards, trying to go back into the barn. It was very, very.
That was what it was.
Very difficult. Yeah.
That was what it was. She refused to come on the track or something like that. She just, she stopped and now I remember. And then Bradsell might have been the other scratch out of that race because I know there were 3 all coming out of a similar race there. Obviously, we don't see Bradsell in here, so we don't need to talk about that runner. But it was Believing, who refused to step on the track that day. That was unique.
Yeah. Davey, talk about Majira and this form line.
Rumstar is now in
Temple. That this Haydock race looks like it could be a live prep for this.
Majira's the French horse. It could be, but on the figures, Majira's got a lot to find. It's come from the French provinces. It's been bought by Lord Webber, the guy behind the musical Cats and so on. It's in his colors, the pink colors.
Right.
I think this is too much of a placing in Group 3s in France. It won a Group 2 at Haydock, but this is a bigger race. I don't give it a chance. It's getting money, but it's not for me.
Let's do this, gentlemen, with a few minutes to post here. Top 3 in this race, and then after you do that, if you guys have a quick pick 4 you want to give out, the next 4 races, a smaller ticket, let's do that too, because we're only doing one more race after this. So first, Davey, your top 3 in this 5 furlong sprint race, the King Charles.
Very quickly, on the Hong Kong board, the Whirlpool board now, Rumstar is into 5.5 for a place and 30 to 1, 331.0 for a win. So it's still almost 3 times the price on the UK markets. I would go here for my top 3, Night Raider number 6. Then I would have Rumstar number 8. And then I'll try a roughie Jazur number 3.
Okay. Ryan, your top 3, please.
Yeah, my top 3 in this race is going to be, sorry, I don't have the names in front of me, but it'll be the 16 is my top pick. Forgot the name. And then the number 6, who we just spoke about. I'm on a different race right now, so I can pull it back up. The 6 Night Raider. Majira, yes, thank you. Then with the 6 Night Raider in second and the 14 Believing in third.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have it written down here. I am going in this race. Let me see here. I'm going 6, 14, 2. Actually, the 2 is scratched. I would have been really interested in the 2, who's actually out of the race. The
Bucanero Fuerte.
Yeah, Bucanero Fuerte. I was interested in, but I will divert to. I'm going to go with Night Raider over the 14, which is Believing. I'll put the number 16 Majira in for third. I'm also playing a pick 4, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just read off my pick 4 ticket, and if it comes in, I will show it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we got 1 minute. I'm going 6, 7, 14, 16 with 1, 3, with 3, 8, 10, 14, 15
Howard,
with
go on.
with 7, 12, 14. I'm going to read that again. 6, 7, 14, 16 with 1, 3, with 3, 8, 10, 14, 15 with 7, 12, 14. Go ahead, Davey.
Can you get the Hong Kong board up to show the folks at home what it looks like when the colors start to change? Is that possible?
I think we might have to wait until, because it looks like they're going to post, Davey. We might have to wait till the next race.
They're still circling if you can
Oh, they're
find
still
it.
circling.
Yeah,
all right, give me one. What is it?
'cause the
HKJC, right?
Yeah.
HKJC.com.
Yeah. Do you want me to send you the link right now on email?
No. I'm pulling it up right now if we have time here. They're circling for you, but yeah. What do you want me to go to there? Oh, after
I want
that,
you to
go
go
to
to
horse
the
racing.
Yeah, go to horse racing
information. Okay. And then where?
I'll send you the link.
Where do I go after that?
I'll send you the link by email directly right now.
Oh, okay, great. Go ahead and do that.
You just follow it to current odds.
All right, go ahead and
Current odds is where you follow it to.
Oh, I've got it right now. I've got it.
The sense of the list.
I've got
last
it,
5 minutes.
I've got it. I'm bringing it up right
it?
now here. Let me see here. Okay, it's on the screen, Davey. If you want to talk, hold on. Sorry, it's not. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me see.
No,
Yeah, let me see it.
I'm trying to get it up. It's not.
You got it? Because it's lighting up right now, and it's fascinating to look at. Here you go.
Is this it?
Yeah, maybe you're on the previous race.
Wrong race. Here we go. Race 3. This is it. Different screen you want me to go to?
This is it. Yeah. Pull it up. Oh, there you go. Yeah, put it on so people can see it now, and smaller the screen so you can see the movement. The green is where there's movement in the market.
Yes,
Rumstar has come from 38 to 26. There's big pushes on him. If you can make the out, it's been brown lamp. That means 50% of the money has come from Rumstar in the last couple of minutes.
Interesting.
Of the market, there's a huge bet going for Rumstar. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. Yes, interesting.
Yeah. So now you know. This is Americans keep complaining about ADWs and the late money. You are looking on color scheme where the money is starting to really hit by that color scheme with the green and the brown, with the red being the favorite. It's a very, very good system, and it keeps you alert to like movements in the market.
Ryan, we know about late money coming in here in this country.
We certainly do. Yeah, that's not something we're a stranger to. Yeah, that's something we're very accustomed to.
All right, so I'm going to keep my eyes on Night Raider. Davey, the colors in the gate. Let's see. Night Raider is Wathnon coming out of the what post is Night Raider?
He's coming from the 7.
The 7 hole? Okay.
He's coming from the 7.
It looks like they're going to the gate
and
here.
It's coming from the 5.
Yep. Looks like they're going to the gate, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go and take ourselves off and bring off the sound for the 5 furlong sprint, race 3 here on the HHH Racing podcast, Royal Ascot, day 1.
Stratford will be the 350 without number 4 Segullahad, non-runner. Now, Gira has been withdrawn, will not go in. So not a good day for Will Buick. Withdrawn, number 16, Mingira. Right, last of the runners in. King Charles III stakes. They're ready, set, go. They're away in the King Charles III over the 5 furlongs. Umgira withdrawn. Regional very fast away. Estepona's up there as well. Froster Dawn, the best turned out winner. Manican in prominent positions. Night Raider and also Believing Rumstar and Asturias and Washington Heights. Asphora in a prominent position as well at this moment. Twilight causes the back marker. American Affair is towards the back of the field also with Tropical Storm. Heading down already to halfway. Asturias and Night Raider Believing on the extreme left in the purple. Rumstar is with those. Manican and Regional then. Estepona. Asphora right down the centre. Light blue colours is there with a big chance as well. They flash down towards the final furlong now. Asphora Regional. Froster Dawn Believing furthest from the grandstand. And here as Froster Dawn, American Affair coming home very strongly now with Paul Mulrennan. American Affair and Froster Dawn. It'll be between this pair. American Affair being Froster Dawn. Regional Starloss, Kurnos, Washington Heights, Asphora and Montage.
American Affair. It is an American Affair with Howard Kravets and Ryan Anderson right here on the HHH Racing Podcast as Davy Lane joins us here. American Affair upsets with Frost at Dawn. The heavy favorites just really nowhere to be found. Didn't run great. There was, I think, an incident before the gate. I didn't see it, but I heard it. It looked like the number 8, or not Rumstar, Majira was declared out of the race, Davey. Could you see what happened behind the gate?
Yeah. I missed it. They didn't load him. They went without the horse.
Ryan, that's something completely different than they do over in the UK as compared into Europe as they do in the United States. They don't unload the whole field and blah, blah, blah. And something happened. I don't know what. I know. Look, if you're an American punter and you have Majira and you're all pissed and everything, this is what they do in Europe. So don't get upset. I actually don't mind it in a certain way, Ryan, because it doesn't take another 5 minutes to reload the field and whatnot. But obviously, if you have that horse, that's disappointing. American Affair upsets Davey. It looked like Asphora was making a move in the middle of the track and just didn't quite have the same punch. And we have some roughies in this race that came in.
Yeah, and the central to far side, the central to near side is where the speed was again. So Night Raider and Rumstar being drawn 7 and 8, no bueno.
No, exactly. Like
No
we
bueno.
say.
Yeah.
How big a surprise the American Affair at 10-1? We mentioned the horse. We didn't talk about him a lot. It's hard to talk about every horse, ladies and gentlemen.
It was
mainly a
doing really well.
Mainly a handicap horse, Davey. Really, right? I mean,
yeah. And it ran its first group race last time and didn't have a great run, but it wasn't because it was not of talent. It just got blocked in or something. But it was I won on the horse like 3 back in Edinburgh, in Musselburgh. It won by like 6 lengths. It was incredible. So, but sometimes you just have to take a horse that's in form. Forget about these statistics and these figures and these form lines. And see, the horse is running good. It's in form. Go with it.
If people watched my preview show with Emmett Kennedy, and I'm going to try to pull it up if I can, he talked about American Affair on the preview show, Davey, and he liked this horse a little bit.
Yeah.
He thought, and I watched the replay. I actually disagreed with him on the replay, but obviously, what the hell do I know? He thought the jockey in that race was very indecisive and was trying to go left and then right and just couldn't decide what to do. The horse did get steadied a little bit. I would say about a furlong out. I just didn't think he had that much punch, though. Haydock is not that far from you. Obviously, we underestimated this horse. We're having trouble with Davy's audio sound.
Yeah, I mean, people did. Once it got to a group race and didn't win, I mean, it was crossed off a lot of lists.
Yeah, the horse, what was it, 10? Ryan, what were the odds? Can you give us the final
Okay.
three
Can you hear me?
in the running, Ryan, and the odds, if you have that, Ryan, of the race that
Yes.
ended?
Yeah, 30 seconds here.
Can you hear me?
It's pulling up. The winner was 10-1 over the second place, 31-1. I did not see who came in third, but I know Starlust came in fourth at 19-1.
Okay, so it's 10 over 31 over, we're not sure. Is that correct?
Yeah. Not sure who came in third.
Davey, did you catch who came in third there?
Yeah.
Not. All right, we're having a little, again, delay with Davey.
I did, and I've forgotten. I could. Starlost was fourth. American Affair was third.
7 was third.
Yeah.
7. Okay. And who was that?
I'll tell you if I just look at the
Regional
field.
at
Regional.
9-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regional was third. Yeah,
guys,
regional.
let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat while you guys are getting reorganized here. We have David Ramirez is here.
Regional.
Good morning. Good morning, David. Got it, Davey. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Terry Frank said the pick 4 is actually 50 cents on Naira. So
It depends what site you use.
Looks like I I only had a dollar option on interesting on Twin Spire. So looks like I just spent twice as much money as I wanted to, Ryan, and lost. Oh well, that's the way it goes. Jim Pilars is here. Hello all. Loved reading Davy's analysis on the international tip sheet. Thanks, Jim Pilars. Jim is a member of Team HHH Davy, so you got a fan there. Very good. Let's see. Matt Miller, workout and dentist. I feel like I need to pull some teeth right now. Workout and dentist this morning. Can't watch. Want to say hi to all. Great to see you, Davey. Howard, you have a new watcher. FanDuel Ken needs this trio's wisdom. Thanks, FanDuel Ken, for watching the show, and thank you to Matt Miller. Let's see here. Anthony Roberts wanted to chime in and said the 7 was third. Thanks, Anthony. Really appreciated that. We have someone new, Abdi Dini. What's up, Abdi? Thanks for joining the show, watching on YouTube, Ryan. We got new people, like I said, watching, listening every day. All right. That takes care of that race. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be showing and discussing only one more race today here on the HHH Racing Podcast, and it's going to be one unbelievable race. It is going to be race 4. It's the St. James Palace Stakes. This is a small field, but Davey, this is absolutely loaded. Now you have to, especially for the American handicappers, Davey, you have to explain how big a race this is. A lot of people think this is the feature race of the entire week. It's the St. James Palace. It's a Group 1. They're going about 1 mile. This is on the round course, ladies and gentlemen. So this, as we brought up before, let me bring this up, Davey, because we have a lot of people watching now that were not watching the beginning, including Ryan. This race coming up here is on the round course. If you see on the top of the screen, the race starts at the top, and then this is a very stiff, this is uphill right here, and they make this one right-hand bend to the finish. So it's a 1-turn, 1 mile, and it's what they call a stiff 1 mile. So it's the first race that's around a bend. But Davey, I think what's most important to talk about here is the significance of this race this year. You have 3 complete monsters in Field of Gold, Ruling Court, and Henri Matisse. Can you talk about these 3 horses, Davey, especially the races that they've won already this year? These, of course, are 3-year-olds, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, what we're looking at here is the bringing together of the winners of the what we call the first classics, which would be the Irish, well, the English, the Irish, and then the French 2,000 guineas. So 3-year-olds over a mile at Newmarket, what they call HQ, at the Curragh, and then at Longchamp. And often the three of them don't meet, but this is an occasion where they do meet. So it's in theory 3 champions. I think you described it before as the winner of the Santa Anita Derby against the winner of the Florida Derby against the winner of the Louisiana or Arkansas Derby, something like that. So which makes this a sort of a Kentucky Derby type of race, even though it's over a mile. It's the same distance. They moved from the Guineas. We've already had the Derby, so it's horses who don't get who are milers, who aren't going to step up. And what we're looking at here is the 3 champions, and it's a 1-horse race for me. I mean, I think Field of Gold.
Wow.
Well, I said that about the English 2000 Guineas, and the jockey Kieran Schumacher was fired from his job with John Galston for holding on to his horse too late. The horse subsequently went to Ireland, but Colin Keane rode him, and he charged away with the race, winning by like 3 3/4 lengths or something. So, so this is the big one, as it often is. But often they don't get the Irish or the French or even the English 2000 Guineas winner in the race. It's just look at the draw that we have it today.
Let's talk about the top 3. We're going to talk about Field of Gold first. Ryan, you can chime in.
And
Field of Gold is 4 for 7 lifetime.
I mean, if I was a big time gambler like some of these guys in Chinatown and Liverpool who go in there and pull their £5,000 up and slap it on the horse on even money, I would be doing that for this horse.
Talk about Field. There's a little bit of delay, Davey, so I apologize to everyone at home.
Lost you.
His sound is not matching up with mine, so it makes it a
Frozen.
little difficult. But well, it's not frozen; it's just a delay, Davey. But talk about Field of Gold in more detail. 4 for 7 lifetime. 2 back, losing the ruling court, like you said in the Guineas. But a lot of people felt like the jockey was at fault there, and then won last time very easily. Where do you see Field of Gold in this race, Davey, in the early stages?
Yeah. Okay.
Again, there's a bit of a delay. We'll hear from Davey in a second.
Well, even though it's a 7-horse race, it will be coming up from around a bend, and horses can get trapped on the rail here, even though it's a 7-horse race. Horses can get trapped on the rail, even though it's only a 7-horse field. So Field of Gold has to be careful, but the draw is good. He's drawn 5, which means he should be sort of 2 out, 2 back, which by the time they turn for home, he should be ready just to sweep around the outside and put everything to bed. I don't see any complications whatsoever. I see it winning emphatically, and if I had a farm to bet on this horse, I would.
Wow, Davey wants to bet the farm, Ryan. That sounds pretty convincing, doesn't it, Ryan?
That definitely sounds like a ringing endorsement. I love Henri Matisse, so I got to go. I'm going with that horse, but I mean, Field of Gold certainly looks like a monster in here.
Yeah, I think he could be tough. He's a gray, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk. By the way, there's Rashabar, who won a race last year. This Coventry, the one that just race 2 from last year. There's Rashabar, who won at 80-1. Is turned into a pretty darn good horse, actually. Let's talk about Henri Matisse. Henri Matisse, who I know a lot of people like, is a very popular horse in general. People in the United States remember Henri Matisse, Ryan, because he won. I'll go and show the replay when he won at Del Mar. I thought he was really impressive. We interviewed Aidan O'Brien, Ryan, on the show last year, and he mentioned that, he can be a little bit goofy at times, and he thought these sharp turns at Del Mar would sort of wake him up and make sure he's focused, because he ran a lot as a 2-year-old, and I thought he was super impressive at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That was around 1 turn. I'm not sure how strong that race has come back, although Zulu Kingdom, Ryan, is actually running very well right now. But Henri Matisse is blue. the 13, which is a tough post, came 3 wide and swept around the whole field. And as you know, Ryan, that's not easy to do at Del Mar. Here he is right here wide.
Not easy to do. Takes a really good horse to be able to do that and pull that sort of move off. But he did it successfully. So clearly had some talent. And Aidan O'Brien was spot on with the sharp turns, kind of waking this horse up and keeping him focused as we watch him close down the center of the track there. But I don't know how strong that race came back. I like this horse. I'm a fan of him. I like the way he's kind of come on this year. But again, Field of Gold looks very, very tough.
Henri Matisse went the French route, Davy, which these other ones went to Ireland and then to France. I watched both races very carefully, Davy, and I want your opinion because although his closing sectionals were very good, he did get 2 very good trips, sort of unencumbered, but he does have a turn of foot. I'm assuming that Ryan Moore is going to save ground on that bend and then swing out late and try to run them down. I think it's possible, but he's going to have to run a super race to beat Field of Gold.
Well, he does, but there's a couple of things to note about that. The Poulet Essai de Poulon, the French 2,000 guineas, is the horses that were in behind him, specifically the 3rd and 4th horse. 3rd place in that race was Camille Passaro, who went the extra distance and won the Prix de Jockey Club. So that's a serious horse that it beat there. It beat it by a length and a quarter. But in 4th place was a horse called Luther. And Luther is a horse that's now going to be running in New York in the Belmont Derby.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
What's the name of the horse again, Davey?
Luther.
6-1 shot in that race. So I would watch it. Yeah, Luther is going.
Interesting.
Yeah, Luther is going. Luther. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was a short neck 3rd, a short neck 4th behind Camille Passaro. So if that form in the French Derby holds up, Luther should be quite strong in the Belmont Derby next month.
Wow, there you go, Ryan. Little intel. We'll remember that for the Belmont Derby.
I think it's next month.
That's right.
It is. I believe it is next month. That is correct. I like Henri Matisse. I think he has a shot to upset. Davey, my gut feeling here, we got to talk about ruling court. How much time do we have to post, guys?
Like 18 minutes.
Okay. Ruling court is fascinating, Davey. And for those of you who don't follow European racing, we've got to talk about ruling court. I'm going to let you do it, Davey. So I'm going to give you the floor here for about 2 minutes. This horse has had an interesting career so far, especially most recently where he was supposed to go in the Derby and they pulled him out of the race. He won at Maidan like a complete superstar standout, and then he upset Field of Gold. Talk about ruling court for Appleby and Buick. And like we said, Appleby has not won a race at Ascot in 2 years. But talk about ruling court, who right now, I've got to say, Ryan and Davey, is a little bit cold on the board for what he's accomplished. He's 3-1 co-second choice with Henri Matisse. Davey, the floor is yours for about 2 minutes to talk about the number 6 ruling court for Godolphin. You're muted, Davey. If you can hear me, you're muted. We'll get Davey on here in just a second. When I hear his voice, again, there's a delay. So when I hear that might be me. No, I don't know. No. You're still muted, Davey. You're still muted, Davey. It's well, Ryan, we'll wait for Davey to figure that out. You got to do it. Okay. He'll come back on again. Technology, ladies and gentlemen. He's thousands of miles away. But I'll talk about the source a little bit, Ryan. So when he won in Maidan, he was completely unbelievable. Now, that was not the best field, but he just won hands and heels. I mean, it was completely ridiculous. Last time, he got the jump on Field of Gold. The rider Field of Gold waited a little bit too long. Ruling court got the jump and won. You saw he was 9-2 in that race, Ryan. This is a horse by Justify out of a high chaparral mare, high chaparral. Ryan, you're a little bit younger than me. Won the Breeders' Cup Turf at Santa Anita in a thrilling.
I'm familiar with the horse.
Okay, won it right. He won at Santa Anita, I believe.
Won two renditions of the Breeders' Cup Turf. One at Arlington Park, too. 2.
Oh, he did? Okay, there you go. My beloved Arlington. 2 minutes. 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 2 minutes So the thought though is that Field of Gold was that they didn't time it right with Field of Gold last time. This is an interesting race also because there's some rabbits. We'll get Davy Lane back on, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. There are some rabbits here in the field, supposedly. Aiden's got a few. First Wave is a rabbit. Going forward, we'll see. It looks like Davy is back on, ready to go to talk about. Looks like he might be on his phone now. Let me bring Davy on. Davy, you can hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There's no delay. Davy, we should have done this all along. Okay, here we go. Talk about, I'm going to give you 3 minutes, Davy. The floor is yours to talk about the career of ruling court. And I was mentioning, I feel he's a little bit cold on the board here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, if you really think about it, he won in Meydan. It was a listed race. So horses that get the summer, get to have the winter in the summer weather of Dubai, good for it, particularly if they're a good horse. And he was ripe to run in the early spring in Britain, and took advantage of Buick, took advantage of Schumacher, and there was a jockeyship there. Buick was aware that Schumacher was going to hold the horse up, and he pressed the button at the right time and got the edge. And he had a good horse that's got a bit of distance in it. And that's why he was entered in the Derby. And that's one of the reasons he might be cold on the board here, because they think he's more of a distance horse. He was pulled for the Derby because of we had a lot of rain and it got soft. So this might be a horse that got lucky at this distance once, and lightning won't strike twice. And they may be using this race because where else are they going to go? And they may as well just try it. But ultimately, I think they're thinking of longer if they were intending him to run in the Derby. He's by Justify USA, as you know. So I don't see him being good enough today. I see Field of Gold beating him. But, and Appleby, Appleby hasn't had a winner in 2 years. I don't see it changing with this one.
Yeah, and Davey, and Ryan, let's go to you. When you have a horse that's intended to go in one race,
yeah,
and then because of race conditions, not an injury, I want to make that clear, not an injury. Mainly, they thought the ground is too soft. Although according to Emmett Kennedy, he's not sure that everyone, as part of the connections, actually was against running this horse. But this would be ladies and gentlemen, let me explain how significant this is. This would be like a horse. This would be like journalism. Being ready to run in the Kentucky Derby and being prepped for it and the whole thing, and then deciding to go to the Pate Mile. I mean, now when I say that, Ryan, I don't mean that in terms of class level, because this is a serious race. But how would you think of journalism getting ready for the Derby? They pull the plug, and then the next week they go to the Pate Mile, which is a much shorter race. I mean, that's not ideal, obviously.
No, not at all. That's definitely not an ideal spot, or not something ideal. That would turn me off of that horse. Although if it was a horse, like you said, of the talent level of journalism, I mean, maybe he kind of pulls it off. I mean, we'd be going down a rabbit hole going that way. But in terms of a horse, it depends a lot, I think, on their run style. But if you're aiming for a high-end race, you take the horse out of there and out for a lower spot. My first thought would be, okay, this horse isn't ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's so talented that he's going to run well. Dave, in terms of the pace scenario, I was talking to Ryan, and we have approximately, 12 minutes, I believe, to post, guys? Is that correct,
yeah,
Ryan?
It is, yeah. And if for anybody curious, the trifecta in the last race paid $3,228.
Ooh, wow. David, there's a few Aiden O'Brien's here. There are some horses in here that are rabbits, as we like to say here in the United States, that look like to make sure there's enough pace for Henri Matisse. Do you agree with that?
Well, there's Winlord is here as a rabbit for a Field of Gold with Oisin Murphy riding it. It's drawn 4, so it'll go ahead and give Field of Gold, who's drawn the one outside of him, in 5, make sure he won't be blocked. So it's a First Wave as a rabbit too, and he's outside of It's going to turn into a match race between Henri Matisse and Field of Gold down the stretch. That's what's coming.
That's sort of the way that I see it, to be honest. It feels like Field of Gold's going to get the jump, and then Henri Matisse is going to be ridden very patiently and drafting behind and try to run him down. This round course, Davey, do you think that favors Field of Gold, or Henri Matisse, and especially the firm ground and the stiff miles that favor one or the other necessarily?
It actually probably favors Henri Matisse. You know, Field of Gold has raced. It was too soft at Longchamp last time, but he has raced over softer conditions. But he seems to be more. I mean, you know, I would prefer him on a straight mile actually, Field of Gold, than the curve. But I think he's got enough. Ascot hasn't got one of the longest stretches. It's only 2 furlongs. And when I say only 2 furlongs, most of the stretches from the turn in the US are less than 2 furlongs. Correct? I mean, we've got tracks. We've got tracks here with home stretches of 3.5 furlongs, for crying out loud. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's a different thing. But I think it's enough time for Field of Gold to come around and take the race. And
I think another interesting thing to mention here, Davey, because, you know, some UK trainers and ownership, and you know this very well, I shouldn't say UK, some European trainers and ownership wants to come over to the United States, like Coolmore. They love coming over here for the Breeders' Cup Turf, and obviously they tried to do it last year with the city of Troy, and others don't. You know these connections very well. Of these 3 very good horses, 3-year-olds, Field of Gold, Ruling Court, Henri Matisse, we always saw Henri Matisse in the United States. Which of these 3 do you think is most likely to come over to the United States? Either probably not during the summer, but maybe for the Breeders' Cup, which again is in Del Mar, California this year. Would you say?
I don't think you'd see Field of Gold. I think that'll be protected for stallion duties. But Ruling Court with Appleby, he's found a place there where he gets success. So he might bring it over after this race. For who knows? He might end up in the Belmont Derby himself. So watch that space.
But I used to be $1 million race, Davey. Right? Why do I feel like they lowered it to 750? I'm not sure about that, but I mean, Ruling Court, Ryan, against our 3-year-old turf horses.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be an embarrassment of riches for them, I would think, right? That as of right now, Ryan, that feels like that'd be an easy win. I don't think I'm trying to think our 3-year-old males.
That's what I'm trying to do right now as well. And I mean, you have Zulu Kingdom. You have Zulu Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, I think
certainly kind of hold his own. He'd have a home court advantage, if you will. But I mean, I don't think that it would count for much once they turn for home.
No, I don't think so.
I'm looking forward to seeing Henri Matisse come back to the States in the fall. I'd imagine he'd come back if he keeps going on. He's already handled the Del Mar course well and won as a 2-year-old. So if he goes on as a 3-year-old, I don't see why he wouldn't come back.
Yeah. We've got Charrington Albert. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. What's up? He's going a bet only on Field of Gold, and he's going he's got number 3 through 6. I'm not sure if he means exact, like 1 over 3 through 6, or maybe he's saying the 1 is 3 to 6 odds, perhaps. Davey, what's the lowest odds you would take on a win bet for those punters here in the States that are interested in maybe just making a little? I feel like I need to make a score right now and tempted to make a big push here on a win bet on Field of Gold. But I mean, how low do you really want to go on this horse?
Well, he's too low right now. He's 1.7, so he's 4 to 5. Yeah, and that's
that's too low for you.
Well, actually, no. I mean, you're not going to get that money in the bank, are you? So, I mean, as I say, but I don't have the balls and the money to drop a big chunk on that, you know. Yeah, so I just don't. But it should win. I have live bets, slow burning bets from even a month ago where Field of Gold is in the field. I mean, I have a bet running right now where I had a winner already about 3 weeks ago, and Field of Gold is the next sourced up, and I think the price at the time I took was like 7 to 4 or something like this. So when that goes in, you know, then the multiple increases. So I just don't see it losing. I'd love to find a way. I mean, I always generally like to take on the these favorites, but not with this. I think this is one of the better horses to come out of Juddmonte in a long time. Son of Kingman. I mean, he's the equal of Kingman, and he's gonna go straight to Sud at some point he'll be lined up behind Kingman. This is the game.
Well, they think this horse is as good as Kingman. Dexter McCarthy in the chat. What's up, Dexter? Field of Gold is like sovereignty in the Derby, a sure thing. Whoa. Yeah. Except you're getting a much bigger price, Dexter. So, and I was right, by the way, Davey. Chris Mack said the Belmont Derby is $750,000. It's July 4th. So it's coming up on our Independence Day, Davey, here in a few weeks. So that'll be very interesting. Vashan Welsh in the chat, Davey, said, I'm afraid to say, but Colin Keane isn't going to win anything. Not a fan of Colin Keane. What's your opinion of him as the jock of Field of Gold?
He's the Irish champion jockey, so that has to stand for something. It has to stand for something. He's going to win this race for sure.
Wow. If he was the Italian jockey and someone said that, Ryan, we'd have Pete Visco would be jumping on right now and and push back immediately. Terry Frank's going to go. He's going to go with the 5. Talk about Rashabar a little bit, David. This is a horse that won at 80-1 last year. He's a nice horse.
He's a nice horse, and on the tip sheet this morning, I said he's the horse that if you want to play for a place, I mean, it has to come second. So he's the exacta horse. If you want to take on Matisse and Ruling Court, you might take a swing with that. He was 20 something to. He's currently 28-1, so you'll get a good price. There's no reason Rashabar can't rock up here for second place. It'll be a fight with Henri Matisse, but there's no reason he can't. I mean, Matisse's price has been crushed because of O'Brien's win in the Coventry. So so I would pay that into attention. But Rashabar is Rashabar. He was in the Irish Guineas, about 5 lengths behind Field of Gold. So he's not going to beat Field of Gold, but there's no reason he can't rock up and be right there in second place, particularly with the fast ground, which he likes.
Interesting. Okay. Is there any other horse that you'd like to talk about, Davey, here?
In this race?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, at a certain point, we ran out of stuff. So there's 3 races after that. We're probably going to not discuss them. So
you want to talk about some of the other? Let me change the screen here. We've got about 7. We got 4 minutes. So very quickly, Davey, talk about some horses you like in the next 3 races.
In the next 3 races, well, my play of the day, but I don't want to give it away because people got the. Can I say my play of the day?
Of course, go ahead, Davey. Go ahead.
Yeah, that would be race 6, the number 7, A Cure Secret, about 12-1. You're getting a good price because there's 3 Watnan horses in it. You're getting a good price because Ryan Moore is on the second favorite. You're getting a good price for all these reasons. This is a horse that was entered in Group 1 contest last year. Always run well in this Group 3 contest. Always coming like 3rd or 4th. Ran at Epsom 11 days ago and had the outside draw of about 20 horses. Used a lot of gas to get across and won hands and heels going away by about 4.5 lengths. The trainer said after the race they're planning on coming here. They have come here. And if you get 12-1, I would bet a lot of money, and I have. So that's my play of the day in race 6. Race 7. Race 7 is French Master is taking a lot of money, and he's no longer value. But there's another horse called Caballo de Mar, which was like French Master, that's been bought by Bahraini connections. You've got to watch who has been buying these horses in the weeks before Ascot, and that's a good clue. That horse is about 7-1. That has a good chance. And in race 5, the race after this, it's a real crapshoot, and you really have to play around with try numbers.
Where I was just checking, it can show on my ADW app. It shows like the projected payouts for win and for place for whatever money you put down, and it is currently showing me that it pays more to place on Field of Gold than it does to win, which I thought was interesting.
Fascinating, really fascinating. There's a drift on Henri Matisse in the market now. He's at the 4-1. Ruling Court's 10-3, second favorite. Rashabar 25-1, 4th in the market.
Interesting. Okay, I'm just doing some things on the side here. Sorry, everyone. How
Let
much
me
time do we got here, guys?
Let me go ahead and look at that. We are about 4 minutes away.
Okay.
3 or 4 minutes away.
Terrific.
Let me go to race 5, the next race.
Yes, go ahead.
And look at it properly. It's about a 20-horse race. It's over 2 miles, 4 furlongs, about 4,000 meters. The favorite is the King's horse, and it's trained by Willie Mullins. Very rare, or actually the first time the King of England has chosen an Irish trainer to train his horse. And Ryan Moore is booked, and all the sentimental money is coming for that. So it may be good, and it may be a horse about to do something, but I'm against the sentimental money, and I would play about 5 horses in that in a try, and I'll tell you one as a bomb. I'll give you 2 bomb insurance horses after that. But the horses to keep on side would be the 7 East India Dock, the 8 Manxman, the 19 Mr. Hampstead, and the 2 horses that are bomb insurance are number 3 Divine Comedy. That horse was a short nose away from a horse that won last weekend in a group race, and that horse is going to the Irish St. Leger Al Kazam. That's Divine Comedy. It has a jockey change that could pop up. It's got a high weight that could pop up. And the other horse that's way out in the market, a 50-1 shot that could pop up underneath in tries, would be the 6 horse, Feigning Madness, Hector Crouch for Ralph Beckett. Another horse that's a likely race, was entered in big group contest last year, and is getting its handicap debut. Could be anything and could surprise people here. It's already had a race this year, and it'd be fitter for it. So that's the race at 5 o'clock or 12 noon US East Coast time.
I'd like to tip out a horse, Davy, in race 6, and then Ryan, if you have any quick tips, we'll get to the race. And we'll talk after this race is over, ladies and gentlemen, for about 2 minutes. Race 6 is a really nice handicap race. I know Davy's very keen on the 7. I like the 12, Maidan, I believe it's pronounced. This is a horse that's an up-and-coming closer. I think there's a lot of speed in that race, and the 12 is getting better and improving and ran well against a horse that's pretty well fancied in this race last time, finished second. So the number 12, Maidan, in race 6 at Royal Ascot is a horse I like coming up later. That handicap race, Davy, is basically like a group 4. They're really good horses that are just not quite at group level. So race 7 is a fun race. Ryan, any final thoughts, and then we'll take a listen for the St. James Palace.
Yeah, race 6. I like the 13 Passion and Glory. I'm a big Ross Ryan guy. I like the Silks Davies holding up right now.
Actually, it looks like they're going to the gate, Ryan. I hate to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Looks like they're going to the gate for the St. James Palace. Good luck, everyone, in this race.
So all in. If he wins on Henry Matisse, Colin King could get his first winner, and we shall see how this race works out. They're going in. Make sure you get those bets on now. Let's go and join commentary. Set to go. And they're off in the 2025 St. James's Palace Stakes. Windlord away pretty smartly. Officer in the pink on the outside in company with Rashabar, the green spots on a white cap. The purple off at first wave. Ruling course towards the inside. The all blue. The grey Field of Gold is held up towards the back of the field. And Henri Matisse is the early back marker. Rashid Murphy glances round on Windlord. Is disputing the lead with Officer, with Rashabar. Last year's Coventry Stakes winner in 3rd place. The Newmarket Guineas winner, Ruling Courts, is just chased along gently in 4th place with first wave on the outside, and then Field of Gold and Henri Matisse keeping one another company at the back of the field. The front 2 have opened up a gap of about 4 lengths on the others. They come beyond halfway. Officer and Wayne Lorden on the outside of Windlord. A break then of 3 or 4 to Rashabar. First wave pushed along the outside. Ruling Court is still under pressure with on the outside then Field of Gold starting to manoeuvre closer. Henri Matisse will need to pass them all to win as they turn into the home straight and run towards the final 2. Field of Gold starting to shift through the gears on the outside, and he's getting there very easily. Field of Gold strides into the lead. Henri Matisse down the outside of Officer, then Rashabar, nothing from ruling court or Wind Lord. Up towards the line here, running inside the last furlong. It is Field of Gold. He's 5 or 6 lengths clear of Henri Matisse, who's gone into a clear second. Field of Gold and Colin Keane, the gold standard in the St James's Palace. Field of Gold wins like a brilliant colt. Henri Matisse second, with ruling court in third.
All right, we're back live. As Ryan, let me bring back Davy on as well. Ryan cheering on Field of Gold. Wow, that was a wow performance. Davy Lane, Field of Gold completely annihilates and embarrasses the St. James Palace. Henri Matisse got sort of a bumping match there, Ryan and Davy, in the stretch. It just didn't look like Henri Matisse could straighten up. Once he did straighten up, Davey, I thought Henri Matisse, the 3, actually made a really nice ride, a real nice effort. The closing sectionals on Henri Matisse are going to be very good. But Field of Gold, Davey, was hands and heels at that point, so I'm not sure it was really as close as it looks.
It was. Field of Gold is Premier League, and Henri Matisse is second division, really.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that race reminded me a lot of the Derby and the Belmont, where the top 3-year-olds ran in order 1, 2, 3. It looked like Field of Gold was head and shoulders above, similar to Sovereignty. It looked like Henri Matisse was a very clear second, similar to Journalism, and then third, Ruling Court gets the Baeza treatment. Always the not even the bridesmaid, always the or not the maid of honor. I got the third actual bridesmaid. So
where's Vachon? Vachon, don't back out now. Vachon said Colin Keane wasn't going to win, Davey. Vachon, we got to hear from you, buddy. I mean, we got to keep it real here. A wow from Sylvain. Charing Torn, again, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, said yes. MT13 with a bang. Where do you go next with Field of Gold, Dave? That was an awesome performance.
Well, the general race that they go next to, and maybe the connections I'll hear on the TV afterwards, they're interviewing Keane right now, is the Sussex Stakes. Sussex Stakes brings together the 3-year-olds and the 4-year-olds over the mile at Goodwood. Often that's where horses like this go to. Whether they'll go there with this horse, I don't know. And I'm not sure what the plan is after that. This is not a horse that's going to be put on a plane to run in races like the Hong Kong Mile and all of this stuff with all the risks entailed with that. This is a horse designed to be a massive money spinning breeding situation. This, at £200,000 a visit type of thing. When you can make £600,000 in an afternoon. Why worry about putting a horse on a plane to fly to races to win a couple of million? You know what I mean? So the game is about breeding when you've got a horse this good. I'm not saying it's going to be retired now. We'll see as soon as I see Gosden get a microphone in front of him, I'll put the volume up here and I'll try and relay some of that now that I've got a better connection to you guys, and we'll have a better idea about that. Keane is
Davey,
Go on.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. I got to thank you. I was big on Henri Matisse, but the more you talked about Field of Gold, the more you talked me into that horse. And obviously, you know much more about these European runners than myself and Howard, and that's why you're on the show. So you're responsible for my irresponsible wager of the week, brought to you by Royal Ascot.
What were the odds? We got 3 to 5 here. Is that right?
8 to 11. 8 to 11 was the final odds.
What about here?
I'm not sure.
Ryan, what was it here?
3 to 5 over 7 to 2 over 3 to 1.
Okay, so it's 0.6 here. You actually got better odds over there, Davey, and you're not going to win.
Yeah, 0.63 or something, is it, or something like this?
I'd have to do the. What is it? 8 to 11, you said?
Yeah. Was the winning?
Yeah. 0.72. So a little better. 0.73 technically.
Yeah. Okay. So that's and I was on at 7 to 4 and et cetera for the last few months. I mean, this horse went in every bet for the last month. It was a certainty.
Good for you, Davey. Well, so what about British Champions Day ARC? What?
Then, well, they're not going to run a horse in a miler who's a miler in an ARC for a start. So, and they're not going to run on the muddy ground at Champions Day. So those two, and Champions Day is a sort of an afterthought event that was invented a few years ago. So really, it's the Sussex Stakes is the race where they take on where the 3-year-olds take on 4-year-olds. But any minute now, they're going to be the microphone in front of Gosden once he stops talking to the owners, the Saudi, and then I'll try and get that on live and relay it to you.
Okay, terrific.
But we'll see. I mean, I can't think of other races they'll go to. I can't see. Maybe maybe they'll want to bring it to Saudi in January for a turf race. But
interesting.
I doubt it. There's too many risks. You can put a horse in a plane and it breaks its leg or something, and that's it.
Matt Majunkin wants him to come here for the Breeders' Cup Mile, but Davey, you said it's unlikely that Juddmonte would send him over here to Del Mar.
No, they're not going to run. They're not going to run a horse like that around the dog track in San Diego just to keep some down.
Whoa!
All right, that's enough of me.
Wow, you just upset Ryan. Guys, I'll tell you what the bet was for me in this race. I played Dutch Exactas pretty big for me. Dutch Exactas Henri Matisse over Field of Gold. In fact, Davey, you and I told you I was going to be doing that before we came on air. And I'll tell you what, guys, you got 4-1 on that Exacta, Ryan. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, nothing. That's why I put $75 on that straight Exacta, and I also Dutched it. And then I put a very large place bet on Field of Gold because he was paying more to place than he was to win. So that was a pretty fun race for me. That's the first time I've ever made money at Royal Ascot, so I might be
done. All right. Hey, if you made money on that race because of the HHH Racing podcast, you had Field of Gold over Henri Matisse or a try, or you had a win bet, go ahead and put it in the chat. Congratulations. I'm sure a lot of people look. No one just actually, Davey, you just got a second farm. Where's your second farm, Davey? You said you were betting the farm. Where are you gonna build the second farm?
Yeah, it's southwest France, man.
Okay, there we go.
All right, they're speaking to the owner here. Hold on.
3 brothers, you decided Juddmonte would continue, and here we have a horse by Kingman.
Can you hear that?
Who is related to
I don't know if this is legal, but that's okay, Ryan. We'll go with it.
It's fine.
Go ahead, Davey.
And this family just keeps on giving. We are very fortunate, really, to have a horse of this caliber. It's not only winning, but the style by which he won was very impressive, wasn't it?
Bring the camera lower, Davey. Lower. There you go. Good. Perfect. Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a marvelous achievement being achieved today. And I'm very thankful for the trainer, both John and the jockey, and obviously all the staff and the trainers, Rian and all Jetman staff. They've worked very hard, and we're all very indebted to them. I just hope that everyone enjoyed it. I hope it contributed to horse racing at large, and I think he is a wonderful horse.
And shortly after the passing of your late father, there was some talk about whether Juddmonte would continue. The 3 brothers obviously decided, including yourself.
Okay, I'm going to wait for John Gosden.
Okay, no problem. You know what, Davey? We're going to go ahead and wrap up. We're going to go and turn the sound down there, Davey, if you could. We're going to
repeat that.
Can you turn the sound on for a second? We're going to wrap up the show. Or you want me to take you off the screen?
Okay.
I'll just take you off the screen.
Gosden will be interviewed right away. They're going to come to Gosden right now, and you'll know what they're going to do.
You want us to hold for a minute here?
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, they definitely interview him.
All right. We'll hold for a minute.
Let's give it 1 minute, and if he doesn't,
okay, no problem. Hey,
all right.
Yeah, no problem, Davey. Ryan, can you answer the question from Bronson 647 at the bottom of the screen, please?
Yeah, depends what ADW you use, but I'm using FanDuel Racing, and it shows the probable payout. So to win, it showed that it was paying. I forget what the amount was for $1, but then to place, it was paying more, and it shows you a range for place because obviously it's going to depend on what horse finishes in first and what order they finish and everything to determine the pools. But the pools were significantly more even in the place pool than they were on the win side. There was like 300K plus to win on Field of Gold, but only around last I checked, it was around like 70K to place and that was only about 5K off from the second choice. So it just ended up paying a little bit more. And the final pools, there's $750 to win on Field of Gold in the win pool, at least in the world pool that we're looking at. But the place pool, it was 159K. The second closest was 136, whereas the second closest in the win pool was 264,000. Was the second. So almost $500,000 in difference between the win pools difference, and then versus only about 40K, I think, in the place pools.
There we go. So that's how you know. We're waiting for John Godsden to be on live in on Davies, and we'll go ahead and hear from the trainer on that. Again, that was an incredible race. Field of Gold in the St. James Palace. I'm sure a lot of people watched it at home. Go ahead, Davey.
They're going to a commercial here now, Howard. So we'll skip John Gosden.
Okay, we can watch on people's ADWs or on our networks here. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show. As we wrap up the show with almost 800 people watching live, I want to thank everyone for watching today's first four races at Royal Ascot. Again, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Look below the video player, ladies and gentlemen, for information through Patreon about our Power Picks tip sheet with a whole boatload of great information on Saturdays here in the United States. And we've got a fantastic website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Please go to that website. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, top right notification bell on YouTube, and smash that like button below the video player. Ryan, you'll go first. Where can people find you? And thanks for joining the show, man.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. Find me on the Gallop Out at YouTube. Find me on X at 20 lengths clear, or in what is that? About 10 hours. Find me on the HHH Racing Podcast or Racing Network on YouTube. Pacific Horse Players is tonight. If you thought us talking about these 4 graded stakes was fun overseas, imagine what we're gonna do when we have the Penn Mile to talk about tonight. So don't miss out. It'll be a fun show. Myself, Noah Maher, Jackson Muniz. And we might have a special guest. Santa Anita's leading writer, Antonio Fresu, may join us tonight for a quick interview. Waiting to hear back to see if he has any availability. Obviously, very busy guy. So, tune in 6:30 Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Pacific Horse Players right here on this HHH Racing channel.
2:30 a.m. Liverpool time. Davey will be up watching Pacific Horse Players. Davey, where can people find you on social media? And again, thank you so much for joining the show, man. I love you, and I'm glad you're feeling better, and you gave excellent analysis. But Davey, where can people find you on social media?
Well, I just generally use the Twitter or the X handle under a name Los Charuas, which is the name of an Uruguayan Indian tribe it's a long story. I had a buddy who was Uruguayan, so that's how I ended up with that handle. And so that's that. But for the HHH team people, I will be doing a tip sheet for the rest of the week, but I won't be doing one of those 4 or 5 page written things that takes me 3 or 4 hours. It'll just be a 1-pager with basically the horses and the plays. And those will be sent to you, Howard, before I go back to reality and I go back to work tomorrow. So you'll be getting them before I jump on the train, which will be 7 a.m. my time while you're asleep, and then you can send those out. Okay, so that's what people will hear from me next, and hopefully folks will get good luck with the play of the day today. A Cool Secret, number 7 in the race 6, which is my play of the day.
There you go.
I hope it wins too. I got a lot of donuts. I got a lot of donuts invested on that thing.
All right. Well, you have more donuts now that you bet the farm on Field of Gold. You got some extra donuts there. Davy Lane, fantastic job. Round of applause for Davy Lane. Unbelievable job. Really appreciate it. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining the HHH Racing Podcast. Trish Smith in Lexington, keep tuned to YouTube. We may or may not have more live shows this week in the morning for Royal Ascot. Just look at our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, and hit that notification bell so that you'll know if we have some new content arising. I've been your host, Howard Kravets, for Ryan Anderson and Davy Lane. This has been Royal Ascot Day 1 live coverage right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. Crush your bets the rest of the week at Royal Ascot. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Howard Kravets, if you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.